mga ongoing projects, yung mga multi-year projects, yung mga continuing projects. Then meron silang tier 2, but this should subject to feasibility studies nga, submittal. And then, one of these is the OO2, or ano yung pangalan ng OO2? Outcome, Organizational Outcome 2, which is flood control. So, nasama dyan ang flood control. Yes. That's it, sige. Mamaya na lang, ma'am. Patapos na lang, ha? Later na lang, ma'am. Later. Yeah. Actually, the ceiling of the Department of Public Works and Highways or any other agency of government is based on the total budget for the year. So, yung budget for the year, halimbawa, 6 trillion, through the economic managers, mga economic managers, so, ang mag-identify through DBM, the ceiling of each agency of government. Sila yun. Then, when the Department of Public Works and Highways or other agencies of government receive the ceiling, sila din yung mag-reallocate nitong funds na to the regional office, depending on the needs of the regional office, and it follows the formula of the Department of Public Works and Highways. May mga formula po sila. Ang formula nila is, of course, poverty incidence, number of inhabitants, size of the region, and so on and so forth. There are so many criteria for that particular formula. Now, yung department ngayon ang magpili sa RBP na sinabit ng region. Remember that the region submits more than their allocation. For example, ang isang region, 35 billion nga lang ang matanggap, pero 200 billion ang nasubmit na project. It's them who will decide the projects that will be included in the NEP or the National Expenditure Program. Bakit ko ito sinabi? Para mawala yung misconception na ang nag-determine ng mga projects, mga congressmen. It's not. It is based on the submittal of the department, reviewed by the Provincial Development Council and the Regional Development Council. Ngayon, mayroon ng projects na lumabas, halimbawa, equivalent to the 35 billion for one region, it will be again subdivided or reallocated into the district. Mayroon din silang criteria paano ito i-distribute. Now, pag mayroon ng NEP, the NEP that prepared by the Department of Public Works and Highways in the form of NEP or National Expenditure Program, it will be submitted to the Department of Budget and Management for them to review. And then after the review of DBM without correction, for example, and all other agencies have submitted already, they will now present this to the Executive Department for them to approve. Once approved, after the zone of the President, 2 weeks after, it will be presented to us for deliberation. Ngayon, ano ang dinideliberate natin dito? Ang dinideliberate ng Congress is the NEP or the National Expenditure Program. Yun ang ating nire-review. Nire-review natin ang lahat ng ahensya ng gobyerno na mayroong submittal through that NEP. No? So isa-isa yun, ang NEP nila, i-convert natin into GAB or General Appropriations Bill, and then we will conduct the first reading, and then it will be passed to the Committee on Appropriations for the detailed discussion. Ngayon, nadidiscuss natin yan, it passed through process, mayroong period of amendments kung saan binibigyan ang mga ahensya ng gobyerno to submit their errata. So may mga errata sila. Yung errata nila is agency-sponsored errata, but it does not prohibit the Congress as our powers to amend or to make amendments on some of the provisions of that particular GAB because nare-review nga natin. Nakita natin na may mga ahensya ng gobyerno na ang absorptive capacity mahina, pinabawasan natin yan, and so on and so forth. Ganun yan, no? And after the approval, the third reading, it is submitted to Senate. So Congress is composed of two houses, the lower house and the upper house, and therefore, ang ating finished product, isasubmit natin sa kanila. Yun. I made this explanation para mawala lang yung pag-akala nila na tayo, ang mga membro ng Congress, ang naglalagay ng budget doon sa NEP. At saka yung ating nire-review ang NEP, National Expenditure Program, which originates from the Executive Department. Yun lang, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair. Maraming salamat, Congressman Momo.
Yes, Mr. Chair, wala naman siguro nakikita tayong problema doon sa preparation ng NEP by the Executive at yung approval ng House doon sa ating GAP. Ang naging problema dito sa ating budget ngayon, hindi naman sa preparasyon natin dito eh. Ang naging problema doon sa BICAM, kung saan ang allegation may mga insertions na hindi na pag-aralang mabuti ng Department of Public Works and Highways. So, to simplify all these things, simple lang naman, ano ba yung mga insertions? Ano ba yung mga proyekto na yun? Yun daw ang pinagmulan lahat eh. At palagay ko, nagkataon lang na napansin ng ating Pangulo na bumaha, nadamay na itong mga proyekto na ito. Ang dapat siguro nating tingnan dito, ano ba talaga yung mga flood control projects na pumalpak. So to simplify, kasi kung iisa-isay natin lahat yan, hindi tayo matatapos dito. Siguro we can just ask the Dpwh to submit all these projects, tapos magkaroon tayo ng individual reviews per our regions, ng ating mga concerns na regions.
Para magkaalaman na.
Yun yung siguro pinakamaganda natin gawin dahil yung NEP, GAB, yan yung sistema natin. Hindi naman natin pwedeng baguhin na yan. It's our right as a representative of the people to propose amendments, to review the proposal of each department. So, hindi na mababago ito. Ang question lang, meron ba mga congressional insertions during the BICAM na hindi naman dumaan sa pag-aaral, especially the flood control projects ng agency concerned.
Maraming salamat, SDML Erice. Mr. Chair,
Mr. Chairman,
parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Chair. Is this an investigation or
just a briefing, still a briefing.
So, if it is a briefing, Mr. Chair, then you just let the department to present to us. Then later on, I will have questions about the implementation, how this project has been prepared. We'll just let the department first present to us the programs of the project, Mr. Chair.
Well, before giving it to Secretary Bonoan, we'd like to get some remarks first from Congressman Mercado, former Dpwh Secretary.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of this very important Committee on Public Accounts, our guest, Secretary Bonoan and staff, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. The Department of Public Works and Highways has always been true to its mandate in providing projects and recommending them to Congress for approval. And true to its mission, indeed, of all the departments, I would say, because I was there, been there, and as a secretary of the Department of Public Works and Highways, and now on my 8th term as a member of Congress, I can say that the Department of Public Works and Highways has always been in the forefront of providing us the infrastructure advices and preparation of the projects which our different provinces are really requesting or wants to be implemented in order that, of course, we will also progress like the other provinces. And so I can really attest that the Department of Public Works and Highways, even then under the leadership of Secretary Bonoan, he has always been there, and he's now in the helm of the department. The members of Congress, to be candid, are welcome, and Secretary Bonoan and the staff are really very knowledgeable, because these are not ordinary problems that we are presenting to them. The Department of Public Works and Highways is a technical arm, the technical arm of the government. It provides the design, it provides the planning, the maintenance, the construction, and we are given the guide on the quality and standard that it should be implemented. So I would say that the department has performed. We should instead of giving them problems, I think we have to focus in encouraging them to perform their work. Because in these trying times, we all should be helping each other. We cannot solve this problem if we will not be united. The problem is there. We know that it is caused by climate change. It's there already. Even before, when I was still a student, 3 decades ago, in Moraita, in Hispania, in Recto, even in Mindura, there was already flooding. How much more today? When we have already 15 million citizens living in the metropolis and contributing at least 1 kilo of garbage a day. So I think really, Secretary Bonoan, I would, as former secretary of the Dpwh and the rest of us here, we would like to commend you and continue what you are doing now, cleaning our esteros, the Pasig River. You have been good in that. Do something with our pumping stations. Continue. Perhaps it's the right time today because it's already a sunny day. We can already work. But to all, I would say that the enemy of our highways is the rain. Pagbasa talaga ang kalsada, hindi natin pwedeng galawin, hindi natin kasi mas lalong masisira. But they are prepared already. All the equipments, the materials to pave and make the necessary asphalting projects are there already in the field. So now I think you can move ahead, go ahead and focus on your work as the Department of Public Works and Highways, because we are there, and we will always see to it that we will support your program. Only that perhaps, my dear colleagues, of course, our budget is very limited. But I think the department will really is very sympathetic to us, because they know that we are with them in providing assistance in terms of infrastructure development in our respective district. Thank you very much, Secretary Bonoan. Thank you very much, Chairman Terry Ridon.
Maraming salamat po, Congressman Mercado. Bago natin na pagsalitain ang atin pong buting Secretary. Basahin natin muna yung roster po ng members na dumating. Una po si Congressman Antonio Tony Pet Albano, 1st District of Isabela, former Deputy Speaker. Kasama rin natin, bago natin makalimutan, kinatawan po ni House Speaker Martin Romualdez. Kasama natin ngayon ang Special Advisor to the Speaker, former Senior Deputy Speaker, si Honorable Aurelio Dong Gonzales Jr. Kasama rin po natin si Congresswoman Maria Angela Garcia, 3rd District, Bataan. Congressman Adrian J. Advincula, 3rd District, Cavite, Deputy Majority Leader. Congressman Marlo Bangcoro, 1st District, Zamboanga, Sibugay. Congressman Albert Garcia, 2nd District, Bataan, Senior Vice Chair, Committee on Appropriations. Congressman Eulogio Leo Rodriguez, Lone District of Catanduanes. Congressman Jesus Manuel Bong Suntay, 4th District, Quezon City, Deputy Minority Leader. Congressman Alfredo Pido Garbin, Party List, Ako Bicol. Congressman Leandro Legardo Leviste, 1st District, Batangas. Congressman Kenneth Gatchalian, 1st District, City of Valenzuela. Congressman Joel Chua, 3rd District, City of Manila, and Chairperson of Good Government and Public Accountability. Congressman Rolando Valeriano, 2nd District, City of Manila, Chairperson, Committee of Public Order and Safety. Congressman Franz Pumaren, 3rd District, Quezon City, Chairperson, Transportation. Congressman Jerry Evangelista Perez, 2nd District, City of Zamboanga. Congresswoman Elisa Orgaco, 2nd District, Masbate. Congressman Antonio Tonico, 1st District, Masbate. Congresswoman Jennifer Lagbas, 1st District, Misamis Oriental. Excuse me. Congressman Gerald Galang, 2nd District, City of Valenzuela. Congressman Zia Alonto Adyong, Deputy Majority Leader of the 1st District of Lanao del Sur. Congressman Dimzar Sali, Lone District of Tawi-Tawi. Congressman Mark Chola Violago, 3rd District of Bulacan.
Mr. Chair, parliamentary inquiry and a few clarificatory questions, if I may. Mr. Chair, you were mentioning that this committee, although it's a briefing, due to the fact that it comes from the son of the President himself, you mentioned only most of it flood control projects and ghost projects. But this representation comes from the 1st District of Isabela, where a bridge mentioned in the SONA. In fact, today I am filing a resolution for a full investigation of the bridge that was created even before I became congressman in the 18th Congress in 2019. And therefore, may I inquire if it is not included in the presentation of the Secretary himself and the Dpwh to please furnish us and hopefully the committee can also tackle the infrastructure projects that the President specifically mentions in the SONA, as to make sure that this full investigation will show who the culprits are and what are the mistakes, if there is, in the projects that was destroyed na nasayang na bridge na kagaya ng 1st District of Isabela, Mr. Chair. So my parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Chair, is this also part of this briefing? And would you please, if it is not, would you please make sure that this is included in the joint committees later on for us to investigate, Mr. Chair?
Thank you for the inquiry. There is a specific focus on flood control projects arising from the State of the Nation address of the President. But I think the orders of House Speaker Martin Romualdez is to undertake a full, comprehensive review of all infrastructure projects. So I'm quite certain that the project that you mentioned will be included. And hopefully, if it is not included at the moment, as soon as we get a full hearing on the matter, we can get a report relating to this project, Your Honor. Sige po, Paano ba? Ay, Congressman Chodoro of Marikina, please.
Daming
Mr.
singit-singit
Chairman,
naman.
is it correct that my understanding is that this is not an inquiry at this point?
No, it's just a briefing. But of course, we can ask questions, I think,
Parang
to the Secretary, high-level officers, and the regional directors.
May I suggest
Nagtatanong na
at this
mga
point
congressman.
to give the opportunity to the Secretary to conduct the briefing so that if there will be questions coming from the members,
Kalak.
at least it's properly in the context of what will be the data and other information that
Naku,
will be
mga sulon.
provided in the
Delikado.
briefing. Mr. Chairman.
Congressman Chodoro,
Para po yung magtatanong mas malinaw at mas nasa tamang
Patay kayo
konteksto.
ngayon.
okay po. Thank you, Congressman Chodoro. Well noted. So at this point, we invite Secretary Bonoan to commence with his presentation po for this briefing.
Patay kayo ngayon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honorable Congressman Terry Ridon, Chairperson of the Committee on Public Accounts, honorable members of the committee, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon po. Initially, in behalf of the Department of Public Works and Highways, I would like to express our sincere gratitude for the opportunity to appear in this committee meeting. We view this as an important platform to provide the committee with a comprehensive update on the department's ongoing and planned infrastructure programs. We commend the Committee on Public Accounts for this initiative to conduct its review, which underscores the vital role of public accountability and transparency in the implementation of infrastructure projects and initiatives that are critical to national development and the welfare of our citizens. This afternoon, Mr. Chairman, we will present an overview of the department's key infrastructure projects under this administration's Build Better More program. These include road networks, bridges, expressways, and most notably our flood mitigation and drainage programs designed to address the increasing frequency and severity of flooding due to climate change and rapid urbanization. We will also provide updates on the project implementation and challenges where we are facing on the ground, particularly in terms of right-of-way acquisition, procurement bottlenecks, and coordination with local government units and other stakeholders, among others. We recognize that efficient and timely delivery of public infrastructure not only supports economic growth, but also builds public trust in government institutions, such as the Department of Public and Highways, which remains committed to ensuring that every project is guided by the principles of good governance, value for money, and responsive to the needs of our communities. We look forward to your guidance and insights as we continue to enhance the transparency, effectiveness, and impact of our infrastructure projects. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. At this point, Mr. Chairman, if you will allow us, we have a presentation to make that we will run through the members of the committee on the developments, on the programs and projects of the department, how the projects evolved over the years, how the budgets have been finally enacted, and what are the status of these projects, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Secretary, please proceed.
Mr. Chairman, there are a few slides that we want to point out. The first slide that we are showing here is actually the total budget of the Department of Public Works and Highways from 2021 to 2025. You will notice the growth of the budget of the Department of Public Works and Highways. The blue lines are actually the projects, the budget of the department that were finally approved under the General Appropriations Act. That is from fiscal year 2021 to fiscal year 2023. In fiscal year 2023, the General Appropriations Act budget of the department is a total of 894.1 894.166 billion, or 14% higher than the 2022 budget. In 2024, the national expenditure program level of the department was 882.2 billion pesos. However, the approved General Appropriations Act budget of the department has been 12% higher, with a total amount of 997.855 billion pesos in 2024. I'll go into the details of this later on. In 2025, the national expenditure program level of the department was 900 billion pesos. However, in the General Appropriations Act, the total level of the budget of the department for fiscal year 2025 is 1.088.8 trillion pesos. Let me go to a presentation on the capital outlays. The capital outlays and the capital outlays that we are showing now comes from 2023, 2024, the National Expenditure Program in 2025, and the General Appropriations, final budget for the department under the General Appropriations Act. You will see the increased allocations for the National Roads Program. In 2023, the Roads Program was allocated 458 billion pesos, increasing 491 in 2024. And in 2025, under the NEP preparation, this was explained by the good Congressman Momo a little earlier. This is the National Expenditure Program of the President that is submitted to Congress initially. So under the NEP of the 2025 budget, the roads were allocated 432.2 billion pesos. However, under the General Appropriations Act, this was increased to 584.48 billion pesos. For flood control, this has been increasingly allocated from 2023, fiscal year 2023, of 280.67 billion under the General Appropriations Act. And then in 2025, under our proposed National Expenditure Program, we allocated 298.66 billion pesos. However, in the General Appropriations Act, this was increased to a total of 346.62 billion pesos. The other infrastructure projects that were allocated from fiscal year 2023 to 2025, here again, for other projects, we allocated 61.67 billion pesos under the National Expenditure Program proposal, but this was increased to 132.93 billion pesos. So a total of capital outlays for 2025 from NEP of 792.53 billion to 1.063.04 trillion pesos in 2025. The budget summary by cost structure. The budget for 2025 of the Department for General Administration totals about 13.315 billion, which includes personal services, maintenance and other operating expenses, and capital outlays. Support operations of 0.994 billion pesos, MOE of 3.57 billion pesos, and capital outlays of 3.995 billion, or a total of 10.345 billion pesos. For operations, a total of 1.064 trillion pesos. The total, based on the General Appropriations Act, is that the personal services total 12.118 billion,
Maintenance and other operating expenses, 6.892 billion. Capital outlays, 1.0687 trillion. A total of 1.0877 trillion pesos. For fiscal year 2025, the total Dpwh budget increased by 90.92 billion pesos or 9% compared to 2024 General Appropriations Act. Capital outlays make up the majority at 1.068 trillion pesos, with 1.045 trillion pesos allocated for locally funded projects and 23 billion pesos for foreign assisted projects, which had allocation in 2024 as this was funded in the General Appropriations Act. Non-infrastructure capital, mainly for equipment, increased by 0.15 billion pesos or 30% from 50 billion pesos in 2024, 500 million to 660 million pesos in 2025. Personal services went up by 2%, while MOE decreased by 4%, comparing from GAA to GAA. Now, let me just go to the outlook of our maintenance and operating expenses breakdown from 2023 to 2025. For fiscal year 23 to 2025, under our NEP, National Expenditure Program, the total budget proposal for road maintenance of national roads, routine maintenance for national roads, flood control, public buildings, floating equipment, repair, maintenance of safety devices, and MOE, total to about 25.55 billion pesos. What came out in the General Appropriations Act is a merely 6.83 billion pesos. In 2024, again, in the National Expenditure Program, we proposed a similar amount of 25.55 billion pesos. In the General Appropriations Act, it came out 7.16 billion pesos. And in 2025, the proposal is 25.77 billion pesos. And what came out in the General Appropriations Act is 6.89 billion pesos. What is very staggering here is actually the allocations for maintenance have been significantly depleted. Say, for example, in 2025, the allocation for maintenance of national roads was supposed to be 14.64 billion pesos. What came out in the General Appropriations Act is only 1.67 billion pesos. This is supposed to be the maintenance of 33,000 kilometers of national roads all over the country. Again, routine maintenance for bridges. Our proposal is 960 million pesos. What came out in the General Appropriations Act is only 460 million pesos. This is supposed to be computed on a equivalent maintenance kilometerage. This is a scientific allocation for all the maintenance allocations in every district. Flood control, we proposed a 4.32 billion pesos in the NEP. What came out is 1.06 billion pesos, and so forth and so on. So out of the 2025.77 billion pesos, only 6.89 billion pesos came out in the General Appropriations Act.
Sorry, can we return please to the previous slide? I think a point needs to be made about the cut on road maintenance. It is
Absolutely.
something that we have been seeing in the last couple of days as a result of the floods. There is no money for road maintenance today. Is that correct?
Well,
Not just, but in the last couple of years.
In
Because
the
of the
last-
cut from the proposal going into the BICAM and going into the JA. Is that correct, Secretary?
that is correct, Your Honor, and this will translate to a more expensive restoration and rehabilitation of all the national roads all over the country. Because the deterioration has already been coming out, and the problem is, scientifically, if a road starts to deteriorate, it is going to be exponential, Your Honor. If you don't do something about it, it will just break. It will just break continuously. Well,
Before proceeding, Secretary Bonoan, so there has been a cut in the road maintenance from the NEP to the GAA. So of course, the next question before going to the next slide would be, where did the cut actually go? Because
well, we will probably come out to later on, Mr. Chair. We'll present where did it go.
Mr. Chair. Si Congressman Massimo.
Tanong lang, it's very practical. Kung alam natin na magiging problema yung maintenance, may effort ba, Secretary, na magdagdag ng pondo para sa maintenance? Or are you proposing, not only now, but in the past, to increase the funds for maintenance?
Well, we are just, Your Honor. I think what we are trying to put into the budget is the minimum requirement for maintenance. Because we understand, I think many of the other efforts that the department is undertaking now is actually the rehabilitation of deteriorated pavements at this point in time. So, the minimum requirements for maintenance is what we are trying to put it into the budget. That is for routine and periodic maintenance.
Okay, Congressman Suntay, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, while the report made by the good secretary is appreciated, I believe that information we can get by just reading the GAA. We call this hearing to get into the bottom of the problem. Kailangan natin siguro malaman, as mentioned by Congressman Erice, magkano yung total insertion, kanino napunta yung total insertion, natapos ba at kung may delay, bakit nagka-delay? With regards to the problem with maintenance allocation, I think ang usapin na ito is with regards to flood control. Tsaka na natin balikan yung kakulangan sa maintenance appropriation dahil pinatawag natin yung briefing for flood control precisely.
Thank you
very much.
We note it, Congressman Suntay. Thank you. Secretary Bonoan, you can proceed, please.
Well, I think I'll just skip the other.
No, we would want the nation to be able to understand how the Public Works Department actually work. So even previous to actually talking about congressional insertions, we have to be able to understand the project cycle, why flood control systems are important. Is it only about flood control systems, or is it also about responding to the environment? There are many questions. Forgive my step-by-step on the matter, but it is very technical, and I think the public deserves to be able to understand that it is not as easy to understand all of these things.
Chair, ito pong briefing na ito, nakikinig yung mga kababayan natin. Ang tinatanong yung bahay, bakit nangyari ito, especially in the National Capital Region. We're supposed to be sophisticated in terms of flood control. So dapat siguro, unahin nating masagot yon. Kasi po, tinatanong ko, yung Department of Public Works po ba, alam niyo ba talaga kung ano yung primary reason bakit may pagbaha? Is it climate change? Is it the Dolomite Beach? Is it the wrong planning of flood? Ano po ba yung major reason bakit ganito kataas yung baha sa isang major megapolis ng kasi yan yung number one na problema, kaya nagalit yung presidente na nakita niya ang dami nahirapan pati ang negosyo natin na abala dahil dito sa pagbaha nito sa Metro Manila. Ano po ba, Secretary, ano yung dahilan bakit ganito kalala yung pagbaha dito sa Metro Manila? Yan yung unang muna nating dapat masagot.
I think darating naman tayo doon. Patapusin lang po natin yung formal presentation po ng DPWH.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Nasaan na? Let me go through the allocations for budgetary allocations over the years. Let me start with roads, then I will come to flood control later on. In our core mandate of the department is actually for the for national roads, for the national roads program, which involves about 33,000 kilometers of national roads now. This includes actually asset preservation program and network development program, and of course the bridge program. For fiscal year 2025, the asset preservation program rose sharply by 58% from 56.4 billion pesos from 96 to 96.92 billion pesos in the NEP to 153.35 billion pesos in the GAA. This reflects our clear shift towards preventive maintenance, particularly asphalt overlay instead of new construction. Meanwhile, the Network Development Program in the General Appropriations Act for 2025 dropped by 5% or 5.5 billion pesos, indicating a slowdown in national road expansion and widening. Bridge program also declined by 25% or 12.8 billion pesos less than what was proposed in the 2025 NEP. It's undermining our efforts in retrofitting, repair, and rehabilitation of national bridges. Overall, the General Appropriations Act is visibly prioritizing preservation, especially preventive maintenance over expansion. Now, for flood control or flood organizational outcome 002, which is actually protect lives and properties against major floods. In fiscal year 2025, the budget for construction and maintenance of flood mitigation structures and drainage systems increased by 10% or 13.66 billion, rising from 136.199 billion pesos in 2024 GAA to 149.85 billion pesos in 2025. Meanwhile, allocations for flood mitigation within major river basins and principal rivers is slightly increased by 0.25% from 225 million pesos from 90.53 billion to 90.75 billion pesos. We also provide allocations for convergence programs actually in our budget, Mr. Chairman. And these are with other agencies like from Katuparan is actually our convergence program with the Department of Transportation, which dropped sharply from 1.62 billion pesos from 541 billion pesos to 3.79 billion pesos, reflecting a cut of 29.9% cut. Tourism declined slightly declined by 4.26% from 6.38 billion to 6.11 billion, consistent with DPWH stand to limit tourism roads to those evaluated through the tourism master plan. And Roll It is actually a convergence program with the Department of Trade and Industry, which supports industry and trade linkages went down by 0.8%. From 5.63 to 5.58%. And TICAS is actually our convergence with the Department of National Defense was increased by 721 million pesos or 14.4% from 5.01 billion to 5.73 billion pesos. Now, here's a program, a special support program for local infrastructure projects, and which we call sustainable infrastructure
projects.
This is sustainable infrastructure projects alleviating gaps. Now, these are local projects which actually the allocation jumped to 94.5% or 110 billion pesos from 116.89 billion in the NEP to 227 billion pesos in the GAA. Now, basic infrastructure program is more than tripled, rising from 222% or 137.2 billion pesos from 61.83 billion pesos to 199.03 billion pesos. Combined, all these figures show that the Special Support Program expanded massively in the General Appropriations Act, becoming the fastest growing program in the DPWH, far outpacing both our core programs from national roads and flood control projects. Now, let me just go to the foreign assisted projects briefly, Mr. Chair. For context, foreign assisted projects were completely zeroed out in 2024 under the General Appropriations Act, despite being allocated 70.7 billion pesos in both the 2023 National Expenditure Program and the GAA. This was a major cut that disrupted ongoing loan-funded projects. For fiscal year 2025, foreign-assisted projects were restored in the NEP at 70.7 billion pesos, but the final GAA retained 23 billion pesos, a decrease of 67%. Public-private partnership, the Strategic Support Fund, which stood at 16.9 billion pesos in 2023, remains only 1.398 billion pesos in 2025, limiting right-of-way variation payments for PPP. National Building Program likewise dropped from 20.2 billion pesos in the NEP to just 16.35 billion in GAA. Foreign assisted projects has continuously suffered major cuts over the last 5 years. In 2021, 80.5 billion was proposed in the NEP, but only 20.7 billion was approved. 70% cut. In 2022, the cut worsened from 86%, and 2023 almost 89%. But the most alarming drop happened in 2024. The National Expenditure Program proposed for 70.7 billion pesos, yet zero was approved in the General Appropriations Act. In 2025, the same 70.7 billion was proposed again, but only 23 billion pesos made it to the General Appropriations Act, a 67% reduction, Mr. Chair. Now, let me just go to, I think this is the final presentation, Mr. Chair. The budget reductions from the NEP to the General Appropriations Act. One of the most persistent challenges in DPWH is the reduction of the proposed budgets from national expenditure to the General Appropriations Act, especially for strategic and preparatory components critical to implementation. From fiscal year 2023 to 2025, the biggest cumulative cut hit the foreign assisted projects from 181 foreign assisted projects, 181.16 billion was slashed across 3 years. This includes full zeroing out of the FABs in 2024. Next, right-of-way funding with a total cut of 103.5 billion pesos over the last 3 years. This severely affected our project delivery and causes delays, especially in major road and bridge projects. The reduction in preliminary and detailed engineering budgets from a total of 50.59 billion pesos, compromising the timely preparation and quality of designs. Without this, early investments projects are either delayed or poorly scoped. The drop of maintenance and operating expenses at nearly 56 billion limits the ability of our office to sustain daily maintenance operations for national roads, bridges, and other infrastructure. Also, Public-Private Partnership Strategic Support Fund was reduced by 27.36 billion pesos. This curtails our readiness for our ongoing public-private partnership. For 2025, Mr. Chair, in our record, for the record, the new items under the General Appropriations Act total to about 410 billion pesos, new items. 410 billion pesos worth of projects, but excluding the 26 billion pesos that were vetoed by the President.
Mr. Chairman,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, Congressman Pumare, if I may ask, what would be the process in asking question? Do we need to list our names or it will be in an open forum? I think you have to list the names. So COMSEC is directed to... Yeah, para na rin follow up with the inquiry of Congressman Edgar, no? Kasi this is supposed to be the briefing on what on the speech of the President. Ang present ni Secretary, yung budget niya, parang budget hearing to. Hindi man to budget hearing eh. Lahat naman lahat ng departments o agencies made a hit na bawasan ng budget. Ang naging presentation niya is budget presentation eh. We didn't even hear kung what happened during the last bagyo. And we know for a fact, alam na naman natin kung ano yung matiyatamaan ng baha eh. But this is quite unusual. Ilang bagyo na tayo na malalakas, alam na natin, Marikina tatamaan, sa Quezon City tatamaan, Caloocan tatamaan. Yun ang gusto natin madinig. Ano naging course of action natin? Hindi budget presentation. This is not Committee on Appropriations. Tama po ba? This is just the briefing of yung what transpired.
Yes, correct. We are still waiting actually. I mean, I think we have to give deference po to the Good Secretary, of course, no? But for the record, of course, we are still waiting for the part on flood control reporting, please.
Sabi niya kasi, mamaya yung flood control.
Please proceed po.
Mr. Chair, we are for the flood control program,
Hindi kasi makapaghintay
in
ito
accordance with the
Sumari.
directive of the President in his Honor speech,
Ayaw niyo pa yun?
we will soon be submitting actually the list of the list of projects, which will involve 9,856 completed projects from July of 2022 to May of 2025. Completed projects, 9,856. This is going to be the first list that we are going to submit to the President with the information of where these projects are by region,
Ala.
geographical district engineering office, legislative district,
Ayan na.
project name, type of work, coordinates which involve longitude and latitude, the contractor,
Ayan na. Ayan na.
approved budget for the contract, cost of the contract, funding year, implementing office, start date and completion date.
Ayan na. Ayan na.
So these are the informations that will go with the list that we will be submitting to the President within the week, Your Honor.
So Mr. Secretary, can the House po also receive this particular list also?
Siyempre.
As soon as after, of course, you submit it to the President.
After it's been submitted to the President, I think it will be the office of the President most likely that will furnish Congress, Your Honor.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Chair.
can I request the Secretary that to be included in that particular listing are the notes that those projects either with FS, with master plan, or wala. Dapat sana ma-qualify natin. Sa dami ng nasa listing niyo, alam kong marami dyan ang walang mga master plan or kaya FS.
Let me qualify this, Mr. Chairman. The list that I referred to are locally funded projects.
Yeah, that's right.
Because the department is also implementing foreign assisted projects, and these are the projects with comprehensive master plans. And this does not include actually the foreign assisted projects, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, does that mean, Mr. Secretary, that all locally projects walang mga master plan?
Wala to say.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, Congressman Risa, please.
Mr. Chair, to be fair with the Department of Public Works, kasi sila yung nasisisi. Kaya gusto kong tanungin si Secretary. I don't think that the flood control projects is the main culprit in the Metro Manila floodings, as far as NCR is concerned. NCR has 14 million population. Each individual producing 0.74 kilos of garbage every day. We're producing 10,000 tons of garbage every day. And due to corruption of local governments,
Nako.
ang estimate po na nakokolekta na basura 30 to 40% lang. Lahat ng solid waste natin na pupunta sa mga creek, sa mga kanal. Dahil nga sa pag-question doon sa mga contracted dredging projects ng Dpwh, pinahinto yan. Pinahinto. Pero hindi dapat ipahinto dahil yan ang kailangan eh. Dahil punong-puno yan ng basura, burak, yung mga natural waterways natin.
Kasi marunong
Alam niyo po sa Singapore,
maglinis.
7 million ang population nila, 2,400 compactors ang umiikot araw-araw para kumuha ng basura. Meaning, ang isang compactor, ibig sabihin 2.5 dump trucks. Sa Metro Manila, kumukuha, wala pang 2,000 na 10-wheeler trucks.
Saan yung mga LGUs?
Kaya po, lahat ng basura. At anong pangunahing dahilan kung bakit nasisira yung ating mga floodgates, yung ating mga pumping station?
Because
Noong nakarang, gaano karami nakuha ang basura sa mga floodgates natin? 600 tons. 600 tons of garbage. Yan yung pangunahing. Kaya po, yung natural waterways natin, bukod sa punong-puno na ng basura, there are 646 families, informal settlers, living on top and beside of our natural waterways. Yan po yung problema, hindi yung flood control programs. Hindi ko po sinasabi na walang kalokohan, hindi ko sinasabi na walang problema yung ibang mga proyekto. Ang sinasabi ko lang, we are barking on the wrong tree. Hindi yung flood control ang pangunahing problema. Ang pangunahing problema, yung solid waste management. Ang Singapore po, 4 yung kanilang disposal site. Sa atin, 2 lang, punong-puno na. Pupunta yung basura, dyan po sa Muntalba, pumunta kayo dyan, lahat ng basura nandun na sa ilog. So this is the problem. At we cannot resolve Metro Manila flood control problem without acknowledging the real cause of the problem. Garbage, solid waste, informal settlers in our natural waterways. Thank you.
Sige po. Thank you, Congressman Erice. Tapusin na natin dalawa po. Si Congressman Ko muna. Then si Congressman Dimagila.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As was mentioned by the Secretary of Public Works and Highways that we have 9,956 completed projects.
All over
Out
the,
of how many projects in total for flood control?
all over the Philippines naman yun. Yung 9,000 na yan.
Your Honor, this is the total number of projects that we have completed since 2022, no? July of 2022.
So do we have a slippage out of that projects?
This will be coming out and the information that we will be submitting to the President, Your Honor.
Out of that projects, Mr. Chair, is there what we call ghost projects?
I think we will reach that point.
So I would like to appeal to the chair is to submit all necessary document from the time it was bidded up to the last collection, so that this will be our basis of our investigation. That this document will be altered or rectified. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Congressman Dimagila, please.
Mr. Chair, good afternoon po. I share the view of Congressman Erice dun sa problem. Kaya lang po, yung problem na yun is only for Metro Manila cities. Tandaan po natin, meron po tayong Laguna Lake. Yung sinabi po niyo is punong-puno ng basura, silt ang mga waterways. Yung mga waterways po ay papunta po ng Laguna Lake. Ang mga cities along the Laguna Lake ay baha po. Yung sinasabi po ng mga kasama natin dito, yung binaha. That means past tense na po yan. Nawala na po yung baha sa inyo. Sa City of Binyan, Santa Rosa, Cabuyao, part ng Muntinlupa, Santa Cruz, as far as Santa Cruz, hindi po kami past tense. Present tense po kami. Baha po kami ngayon. Hanggang bewang po ang baha sa amin. And the sad part is, hindi lang po ito present tense. Future tense din po ito dahil babagyo pa, madadagdagan pa po ang tubig, basura sa Laguna Lake. And that is why I will be expecting the moment na mag-submit ng NEP ang Dpwh, makikita po ng mga taga Laguna Lake, yung sa area ng Laguna Lake, ano ang plano ng Dpwh sa heavily silted at punong-punong basurang Laguna Lake. So, not only that, in-expect din natin, marami na naman po kasi nag-propose dito eh. I think it's about time. Yung sinasabi nyo, ano ba ang solusyon sa pagbaha sa Metro Manila, basura. Sa Laguna po, sa Rizal, parts ng Metro Manila, basura din po. Pero, ang ultimate solution para po sa amin is pagdedredge ng Laguna Lake. Hindi naman ultimate. Ito ay short term din po ito, medium term po ito. Dahil
gawin nyo na.
Lahat po ng sinasabi nyo waterways, ang tubig pong dumaan sa inyo, ang ending po ay Laguna Lake. And that is why I think ang Dpwh po should address this problem. Dahil expectant po ninyo, hindi na po pag-uusapan po ito sa media dahil hindi naman pwedeng i-cover ng media ang mga cities along the Laguna Lake ng araw-araw, linggo-linggo, buwan-buwan. Come Christmas season, baha pa rin. May, June, July next year, baha-baha pa rin kami. And that is why I am appealing to the Dpwh. Solusyonan po natin itong problema ito. Salamat po, Mr. Chair.
Magtulungan na lang kayo para maayos yan.
Maraming salamat po. Bago
Ngayon,
natin nabuksan yung kapag para sa mga tanong, basahin ko muna yung mga nandito pong mga miyembro.
di ba?
Kasama ko natin Senior Deputy Speaker, David J.J. Suarez, 2nd District of Quezon, Senior Deputy Majority Leader, Lawrence Defensor of the 3rd District of Iloilo.
Alam niyo mga kababayan, ang pinakamaganda din dito siguro, no, magtutulungan na lang ang Dpwh, susolusyonan yan, no? Ang isa rin talagang problema, itong basurahan ba? No, itong problema, basura. Kaya minsan ang taong bayan, dapat magiging aware din naman sila, no? Magtapon sila ng maayos. Yung iba kasi, walang disiplina burara. Tapon dito, tapon doon. Kaya tingnan nyo, yung estero, nagbabara. Tulad yan, di ba? Kundi pa pangunahan ng Pangulo, yung estero dyan sa Pasig, walang maglilinis. Buong Metro Manila, walang maglilinis. Hindi sila gumalaw. Ang Pangulong Marcos Jr. ng isang araw, 1 day ago, tingnan nyo, pinangunahan niya. Di ba? Ika nga, parang kung hindi mo bakbakin, ang mga yan, hindi sila gagalaw eh. Oh, tingnan nyo, ang problema din na sa tao. Oh. Ngayon, kung mayroong pang ibang solusyon, why not gagawin nyo na, why not hindi nyo na gagawin para nang hindi pa mahuli. Marami pa tayong bagyo na darating. Aba, kumilos kayo. Mga LGUs, mga congressman. Manduin nyo yung nasasakupan nyo. Yung buong area. Oh, maglinis ng estero, tapon sa maayos na basura. Oh. Pick upin ng basura ng tamang oras. Ay, nako. Kaysa naman na ganyan. Oh, yung presentasyon ni Secretary Bonoan, maganda po yan. Kasi lahat ng budget na ipakita niya. Hindi rin kasi nakakaintindi ito si Congressman Pumarin eh. Sabi nga ni Secretary Bonoan, pag-usapan ng flood control after nung presentation niya. Hay, nako, ewan.
Someone has been asking you to take a leave of absence. What did you actually say to the person asking you to take a leave of absence? That you are open to take a leave of absence?
Tingnan nyo mga kababayan pag hindi nagalit ang Pangulo, walang kumilos. O ngayon at kumilos, tingnan nyo.
Be open to whatever what the president tells me to do so, because flood control is just one of the one program that we're implementing in the department. We have many more big projects that we're implementing in the department. So I said I'm open for as long as it's a prerogative of the president.
And I'm speaking as chair. I don't think the committee is asking you to take a leave. Mr. Secretary, very important for a government to be able to work together to address the roots of the problem relating to flood control, to the problem of flooding, and unless and until there is something that would warrant to ask a person to take a leave of absence, then that is the only time that we will support it, but we have not seen it today. So I think I can speak for the committee that we are not asking you, Mr. Secretary, to take a leave of absence.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair. Yes, regarding that comments of the Secretary taking a leave of absence, I don't think it's necessary to investigate all of these things. Maybe we can just propose for a third-party evaluation, not from the government, but from a reputable private sector or an NGO who can really make a third-party evaluation of all these projects, of all these flood control projects. Would you agree to that, Mr. Secretary? Thank you.
Absolutely, Your Honor. I think even with the list that you are going to submit to the President, I think the intention here is to make it public and publish it to the website so that everybody can have an access to it and see and see the reaction of the general public where these projects have been located, whether they are still there. Has it provided them actually the objective of providing them protection from floods? or whatever. I think it was an open information that will be available to everybody.
Yes, Mr. Secretary, because in this age of disinformation, it's necessary that we commission a reputable and technically equipped third-party evaluator. What would you say to
Yes,
that? Mr.
yes,
Speaker?
I think we would agree, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair, with due respect to our colleague, the gentleman from Caloocan, as what I've said earlier, as a former secretary of the Department of Public Works and Highways, and perhaps I will be the most senior member of the House as a 8-termer congressman. This is not the time for things that would even bother or sway the focus of our department. This is the time to be sober, time to be calm, serene, and what we are doing now is we are now in the right direction.
Natatawa ko dito kay Congressman Mercado.
Go into the process where we can support our government. We can hopefully provide recommendations and reforms that will ultimately give some solutions to this problem. No? So, if there are any insinuations regarding the situation of our good secretary, where there are sectors that say that secretary has to go on a leave of absence, this humble representation will oppose and ask Congress that we will defend, we will let the secretary do, and he is as what he is doing now. He is already doing something to alleviate this flood problem. So I really object and reject any insinuation at this point in time to make changes in our department. Instead, this is the time where we have to support our fellow public officials. We have to rally behind this administration, this government. This is what is needed now. Unity. This is what we want our people to also support the clean and green program of our government. It is not only the public officials, the barangay captains, or Congress or the department. We should not leave this problem alone to them. We have to ask our people, please support us. Be disciplined enough not to throw your waste anywhere, because this has already been causing us a lot of problems, and our economy is suffering. So much damage has already been done. So, for the sake of our country, let us rally behind and support our Secretary Manuel Bonoan and his staff to continue what you are doing now. You have been doing and continue until there will be an alleviation to this problem.
Tama naman
So
siya.
again, let us support Secretary Bonoan. Let us object, or we will have to support his continuance in office as our secretary. I can vouch for his integrity and his technical capability. He's an experienced public servant who has been there, and he is doing right for us. He's very humble and has the integrity and technical capability. So we will never regret our stand, my dear colleague. Let us support Secretary Manuel Bonoan.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman Mama, please.
Mr. Chairman, I think the purpose of this meeting is for the Department of Public Works and Highways to give briefing to us. Now they have already given their briefing. I would like to suggest, Mr. Chairman, that we will require the Department of Public Works and Highways to submit to us the listing of all projects being implemented by the department in 3 years period. So all the flood control program that were implemented in 3 years period as required by the President. Now, once we receive that that listing, that will guide us on how to proceed with the investigation later on, Mr. Chairman.
Baka mga ano
We have already that particular data, so alam na natin kung paano natin tuloy ang investigation na ito. Kailangan lang silang mag-submit sa atin ng mga listing kaagad.
Just to answer, Chairman Momo, only Caraga and Barmazyat has submitted to Congress the list. So we will look forward to the other regions po to submit the list to Congress po, to the committee po.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
And can we get the commitment of the department that the lists will be submitted as soon as it is actually in fact available?
Yes, of course, Mr. Chair. We certainly will submit all the information. May I just even suggest actually that it's not only the listing that we are going to submit, but I think what's more important is actually we'll have to cite actually the challenges that we're facing in the implementation of these projects.
Yes, we have.
Because it's easy to say that we implement the projects, but the challenges that we're facing right now, I would like to say that actually the challenge that the biggest challenge that we're facing right now is actually the riverbeds along all the rivers in this country is now very shallow. No matter how much structural interventions you do, if we do not address siltation, it will just backflow. And these are the causes of the main flooding in many areas of the country now.
Sige po, before we go to the formal, Mr. Secretary, before we go to the formal question and answer part, I think
Mr. Chair, yes.
Well, I'd like to recognize Congressman Albano, Congressman Hernandez, and Congressman Lagbas and Congressman Ko. In that order, please.
Yes. Mr. Chair, let me remind just my colleagues that this is a briefing, and therefore any innuendos of asking any secretary or any department heads to resign or to inhibit themselves is not called for, Mr. Chair. This briefing is supposed to be in aid of our legislation because the President has called us upon to investigate this. And therefore, we would like to ask our colleagues to first give the due process to our Dpwh Secretary Bonoan and all the agencies that are involved. The minute we investigate this is when the proper time later on that we will see whether the investigation merits any of the innuendos that the public or even some of our colleagues are saying. But to do it right now when it is just a briefing is very premature, Mr. Chair, and therefore you should rule that such innuendo should be stricken out of this committee hearing, Mr. Chair.
Just to be clear, I don't remember or recall anyone. I just wanted to ask Secretary Bonoan to comment on, because that's a very public call on him to take a leave. And what we have already stated is that this committee is not asking him to take a leave because we want to be able to work together to move forward on the questions relating to flood control. Point of order, Mr. Chairman. You understand? No. The preliminaries po.
Mr. Chairman,
SDS, please.
Yeah, I just want to take this opportunity to clarify a few matters that's quite personal and, of course, affects the very institution of the House. I was informed that there have been posts on social media circulating identifying certain members of the House of Representatives, malicious in fact, stating that these congressmen control X amount of flood control projects, etc., which has been shared many times. Now, for the sake of transparency, truthfulness, can I ask the good secretary to comment on these malicious posts, Mr. Chair? Kasi, alam mo, sa problema na nangyayari sa ating bansa, pinupolitika to ng marami.
Mga dilis yan.
Tuturo, gagawa ng kwento. Ang problema, hindi naman totoo at walang basihan.
Mga dilis lang yan.
And other than that, it's totally unfair. Especially if you're out to destroy the good name of people who were duly elected by their districts. So, I would just like to take this opportunity, Mr. Chair, to get the comments of the good secretary. Maybe the department can help us in enlightening the public about, these malicious posts, Mr. Chair.
Yes, please. Can you read it? Would you like to read it?
Yeah, I would like to submit this to the secretariat and maybe forward it to the secretary para makita niya, para makapagbigay po siya ng komento. If I may be allowed, Mr. Chair.
Yes, please, Senior Deputy Speaker.
Mr. Chair, while the Secretary is preparing his answer,
Congressman Ko, please.
I would like to join in chorus by the manifestations of the 2nd District of Caloocan, Erese, that there must be a third party to investigate, especially that other factor says that there is a substandard. Another say that the contractor doesn't follow the construction methodology procedures.
Patay kayo.
So, I would like to emphasize to this chair that there is a need of forensic review in order to determine that this structure that was finished by 9,956 completed project is within its structural integrity. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, let me just Mr. Chair. Yeah, I think with due respect to our colleague Congressman Ko of Masbate, I think what we are doing this afternoon is we are in the right track for purposes of orderly proceedings. This is actually an investigation in aid of legislation.
Yes, I know.
And whatever it is, the product of this, Mr. Chair, with due respect, is part of the our study or data where hopefully it can provide us some information in making some recommendations purposely for this issue or topic on flood control. So this is a sort of, if I'm correct, this is a sort of a third-party briefing which might lead to some informations that could provide us the information that our good gentleman is actually requesting. Because indeed that is a valid request. So let us continue. Congress, hopefully after the briefing we can move to continue these proceedings and hopefully arrive at a better perhaps recommendation and solution, because this is what is really urgently needed. Solution to flooding. So let us give this committee a chance to proceed. And then we can discuss among ourselves, the members, and how we can go about this. We cannot complete this in actually one day. No, we have to evaluate everything. So thank you very much.
Mr. Chair, comment on the our colleagues, please. Yes, with due respect to our colleague, it's the President of the Republic of the Philippines who insinuated corruption.
Nako.
That is why it's very unfair if there will be no results. So I don't think that we have the absorptive capacity or the technical capability to determine whether these projects are defective or not. It's only for a technical group like a third-party evaluator. So, papabor po ito para sa Department of Public Works. Alam ko, mag-a-agree sila. Mag-a-agree sila dahil mali po yung allegation. Kung mali yung allegation, mapapatunayan nila na mali. At kung yun naman mga contractors ay gumawa ng kalokohan, malalaman nila. Hindi naman nila 9,900. Malalaman ba ng secretary yan? Malalaman ba ng regional director yan? Maaring doon lang yan sa inspector at district engineering level. At least mag-guide sila nung third-party evaluation. Yan po yung punto natin. This is to help. We are supporting Secretary Bonoan.
Kaya nga imbestigasyon
Especially,
eh.
we came from the same town in Solsona, Ilocos Norte. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Mr. Chair,
Yes, to that,
in addition to that, this is the ultimate solution to solve the integrity of the structure through forensic review. Walang mas mabuti nga yan, Mr. Secretary, ano? Because we are both engineer by profession. Kung may mga defect man, forensic review natin yung sabi niya, third party. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sige.
Dapat imbestigahin nga talaga eh.
Wala po tayo sa tanungan para lang pumalinaw. Medyo pinakita natin yung position ko ano. Application na.
Ay, yan.
SDS po, is recognized.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I think the good secretary and a few of his higher officials have gone through those malicious posts. I just wanted to get it out from the department kasi, you know, it affects the very institution that we are sworn to uphold. So, Mr. Secretary.
Well, I have gone through actually the political blogger that you've given me, Your Honor. And what I can say, we don't have this kind of information at all in the department.
Basta nga
To me,
dilis.
it's a little preposterous actually to
Wala,
have
puro fake news yan.
something like this, 800 billion for 6 members of Congress.
Mr. Chair, can you restate it, Mr. Secretary? What was the allegation again? Our 6 congressmen has cornered
800 billion
800 billion in projects.
pesos for flood control project.
Ano, gutin nyo yung vloggers na yan, mga congressman.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman,
Tawagin nyo.
can we ask the Secretary to make a categorical denial of the statement made by that blogger in social media
Dapat tawagin nyo yan.
in this committee? Mr. Chair.
It is actually now that it is now open for me to respond, Your Honor. What I'm saying is that we don't have any specific record, kind of allocation for the 6 congressmen that has been put into the...
And can you mention the responsible blogger or irresponsible blogger who made that allegation, Mr. Chair?
I don't have anybody. Did not say. Yeah.
I think it's a page, Mr. Secretary,
Dapat,
being circulated today.
So, Mr. Chairman, I would just like to thank the good secretary for at least clarifying that point, no? Kasi, alam mo, unfair talaga eh. I mean, we need to get, you know, our facts, we need to get the truth, especially when we're trying to investigate issues and problems that affect the country. Now, if there are malicious people who want to take advantage of this by throwing out fake news, fake posts, meant to malign and destroy the good name, hindi po pwede yun. Walang lugar po sa atin yon, at higit sa lahat, hindi po tama yon. So, Secretary, thank you so much. Mr. Chair, maraming salamat po. So at least we can put that, use the statement that the Dpwh categorically denies that, and says it is impossible that X amount of congressmen can actually hold that figure mentioned in that post. So thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Sino bang sumisira
Last two
sa
na lang
inyo?
po
Kundi
before
ang mga
we go into the Q&A, please.
mga dilis.
Congressman Dimagila, Mr. Chair, a while ago, and Congressman Hernandez, please.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A while ago, I raised the possible solution sa flooding yung dredging ng Laguna Lake. The good secretary was about to answer. Kaya lang po, medyo naiba po yung question. So, I would be glad to wait for the answer of the good secretary.
Basta dilis
Yes, please, Mr.
magwalo.
Secretary, please proceed.
Your Honor, I think, yes, as I mentioned earlier, one of the persistent problems now that we are facing right now is actually the siltation of even Laguna Lake and many rivers all over the country. Because I think this is what we observed when we entered into this administration. That for the last many years, I think there has not been any concerted dredging and desilting efforts. And actually, when we saw the problem, we have been trying actually to address the issues. And this is what we were trying to do actually by putting up some funds actually to equip our people, our district and regional offices, to equip them with dredging equipment so that the process will be done by administration in the department. But sad to say that the budgetary allocations, as I presented, were actually did not materialize over the years. Now we are going again to visit or to put it into the budget into 2026, and hopefully we shall then be able to get actually all the equipment that we need to start actually the desilting and dredging operations, especially in the principal rivers, Mr. Chair. So I think for the Laguna Lake issue, Laguna Lake is under the administrative responsibility of LLDA, Laguna Lake Development Authority. But certainly, we can provide the technical assistance, Your Honor, actually into the requirements for the dredging and desilting of Laguna Lake. Because I think it's also important to say that the department shall soon be implementing major infrastructure projects along the entire circumference of Laguna Lake. The first program that we'll implement now is actually the Calamba to Bikutan is expressway standard. And then it will, the rest of the circumferential periphery of Laguna Lake will follow suit. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Congressman Hernandez, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Is this point of clarification, Mr. Chair? Is this purely a briefing from DP, or is DP prepared DP prepared to respond to the issues raised by the President? Now, if they're here and they're prepared, they've listened to the SONA, definitely they have answers to the issues raised by the President. So let's cut to the chase, Mr. Chairman. We will have to give them the opportunity now to, for sure, they came here prepared. So we will allow them to present
what they are prepared for us to be clarified kasi marami ng accusations, marami ng mga suggested solutions. Hindi pa tayo maabot ng chairman, hindi pa tayo na-brief what is the real situation of the flood control, not only of Metro Manila but the entire country. And you don't need a rocket science to determine the message of the president and what the president wants. So, this is the opportunity for DP. Marami kasing pangalan na na-mention. Hindi pa tayo maabot dun sa the real situation of the flood control. Ilan ba yan? Sino ba nakakuha niyan? Problema ba sa implementation o may other problems? Let's give the DP the opportunity, Mr. Chairman. Kasi this is due process. Sila yung agency concerned and by all means, we will allow them to explain and respond to the issues raised by the President. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Siguro, this is the last question before we actually go into the Q&A of the members. And this is the question of the nation in the last couple of weeks, no? So, relating po to flood control projects. Kasi, syempre in social media, the allegation is the flood control facilities failed. Sabihin, the allegation is despite the President speaking about, I think, so many thousands of flood control projects at a time when it was needed, it failed. So that is the first question. So the second would be, were there areas that it actually worked during the most recent floods? No? And finally, and this is the most important, does the department take accountability for the floods that had happened in particular areas? Mr. Secretary.
Well, Your Honor, as we pointed out, under this administration, we were able already to complete about 9,856 flood control projects. And as the President wants us to report to him, actually, whether these projects have been made according to what they were intended to provide, protection to low-lying to flooded areas. And this is exactly what we are going to present to the President, actually, by giving him all the information that that we have gathered under our project monitoring application from the start of implementation of the project until the end of the project, until the completion of the project, and to become more transparent to it and see how the beneficiaries or the affected areas would have been able to see if they had been protected or what are the problems that they can see, and then to give us feedback how these projects were implemented, Mr. Chair.
I accept your answer, Mr. Secretary, but the question is very specific and it is very direct. Because I think that is the reason why we have the meeting today, the briefing today. Did the flood control facilities fail during the course of the most recent typhoons?
My answer would be, Mr. Chair, engineering intervention is just part of the flood control, flood management issue. It has to take actually a holistic and integrated manner, because flood control engineering, as I said, is just part of the solution. You have to address as well actually environmental issues. You have to address land use issues. You have to address integrated approach of flood control projects. Land use, and unfortunately, Mr. Chair, for locally funded projects, the department does not have that capability to undertake all master plans and integrated master plans for 403 principal projects and 1,281 tributary projects. And we appreciate actually that in the course of implementation of some of these projects, we would rely on the recommendations from our field officers, and of course from the recommendations of members of Congress, because they are also the ones actually seeing what be needed in the respective localities. Now, having said that, as explained by Congressman Momo a while ago, the process of integrating them into the projects, into our programs, is a tedious program. Now, the only issue that we are concerned about are actually the projects that would come into the General Appropriations Act. The new projects that would come into the General Appropriations Act. This is actually, we don't have the capability and in the first place. These are projects that would be new to us. And it would take some time actually for us actually to vet it, to prepare these projects and put it into a technically viable project. And these are the challenges that we face, Your Honor, at this point in time.
We accept the response, Mr. Secretary. Of course, thank you for discussing the particular details. Of course, the question also is, and to be fair to the department, there are also areas where the flood control projects actually work. Is that correct? Can you provide specific instances po, at the very least in Metro Manila? Kasi po, as an example, in Marikina, people there were expecting that they were gonna get flooded. But in fact, they were not flooded in the last 2 weeks. No? So, can we give examples po in which the flood control facilities actually work?
Yes, Your Honor. Actually, for Metro Manila, it's a little different scenario. For the Department of Public Works and Highways, let me put it in proper perspective. Flood management in Metro Manila is under the responsibility of MMDA. This has been taken out of the department long time ago. When we transferred lock, stock, and barrel to MMDA at one point in time, Mr. Chair, in accordance with their charter. Now, having said that anyway, the department continued to provide technical assistance to the Metropolitan Development Authority in coordination with them. And even at this time, under the World Bank Assisted Program, the department is now in the process of rehabilitating the major pumping stations to increase their discharge capacities at this point in time. We should be able to complete 32 pumping stations by early next year. For Metro Manila, there is a big project that we are implementing right now under the Pasig Marikina Flood Control Program. And this will involve actually even dredging of Marikina River, and probably the implementation of other structures that would initially store floodwaters from the Sierra Madre. And this will be in the program actually for the next several years, Your Honor. So this is why in Metro Manila, I think there has been some significant improvement, particularly in the Marikina area, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. We can proceed to the questions of the House members, but we'd like to acknowledge po the members who are here. Congressman Reynaldo Salvacion, Lone District of Marinduque. Congressman Vincenzo Renato Luigi Villafuerte, 2nd District, Camarines Sur. Congresswoman Maria Cristina Angeles, 2nd District, Tarlac. Congressman Antolin Oreta III, Lone District, City of Malabon. Congressman Amado Carlos Bolilla, the 4th District, Batangas. Congresswoman Attorney Jerryville Jinky Beatrix Luistro, 2nd District, Batangas, Chairperson, Committee on Justice. Congressman Gerardo Jerry Boy Espina Jr., Lone District, Biliran. Congresswoman Agatha Paula Aguilar Cruz, 5th District, Bulacan. Congressman Brian Poe, Party List FPJ, Panday, Bayanihan, Assistant Majority Leader. Congressman Roy Gonzalez, Lone District, City of Santa Rosa. Congresswoman Kakabag-Aw, Lone District, Dinagat Islands, Deputy Minority Leader. Congresswoman Dada Kira Mismula, Party List Akbayan. Congressman Joseph Tan, 4th District, Isabela, and Congressman Christopher Sheen Gonzalez, Lone District, Eastern Samar, Assistant Minority Leader. Okay po, we will proceed now to the questions of the members. Is Congressman Garbin here? He left already. Congressman, I think Congressman SDS Suarez is finished. Congressman Ko, you may proceed, please.
Mr. Chair, this is the purpose why I suggest to subpoena those taken all the records, because based on the statement of the Secretary, there are damages not within our control. So, if based on the document presented, we could know that the project is completed, then the design is correct, then the contractor follow the specifications and program of work, and those damage is not our control, but there will be a factor of lateral movement due to earthquake, flood, and etc. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Secretary, please, you may reply.
Yeah, I think I totally agree with the good congressman that are other, I think, as I have mentioned, Your Honor, I think the engineering intervention is just part of the solution, but I think for us to be able to comprehensively address the flooding problems, it has to be a holistic, comprehensive, and integrated manner, Your Honor, in all sectors that we need to address. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Congressman Cook? Another follow-up. In our discussion, I found out, and I would like to suggest a solution to this problem. This is in connection with our insertion. Dapat dito, to those respective engineering district, they should submit a very feasible projects to the regional director and in protocol direct to the central office. Then the central office will submit here in Congress. For the next budgetary hearing, hindi dapat natin bawasan ng 26 billion. Dapat dagdagan. Pagkadagdag naman, bahala na kung anong insertion ninyo dyan. Ang importante, ang budgetary hearing ng ang request ng Public Works and Highways mabigyan ng priority. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congressman Ko. We can proceed to Congressman Hernandez. Is he here? Next, Congressman Suntay, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank the good secretary for saying na ibibigay niya yung mga list ng completed flood control projects. Pero palagay ko, secretary, mas importante na makuha rin namin yung hindi completed at saka yung delayed. Kasi yung nakaka-apekto sa flooding, hindi naman yung mga completed project ang nakaka-apekto. Yung hindi kompleto at saka yung na-delay. So if we could have that one. Secondly, while present ni Secretary kanina yung well, actually parang
Before proceeding, maybe we can get his commitment first.
yes, Mr. Secretary.
Absolutely, yes. Yes,
Not just the completed, but also the
Incomplete and delayed.
delayed.
yes,
I think that's a very specific list of the president in the SONA, di ba?
Yes, that's right.
the information will be there, Your Honor. The status of implementation of the projects.
Thank you very much. Then secondly, maybe later on, pwede tayong magkakuha naman ng presentation ng what causes the problem of flooding. Kanina ang pinakita kasi ang presentation ng Secretary parang yung budget which was submitted Pero hindi natin napag-usapan kung ano yung what causes the flooding. Like for one, ako sa Metro Manila, there's always a mathematical computation for everything. For example, what causes flooding in Metro Manila? It's not as simple as what my good friend Congressman Erice said na hindi, dahil yan doon sa mga bahay na nakatayo, doon sa waterway, dahil sa basura, kaya nagbabaha. It's not that simple. Those are contributory factors that lessens the carrying capacity of the drainage, yung actual capacity, na lumiliit yung drainage, yung diameter ng drainage. But we could compute it. Ang importante malaman, like dito sa Metro Manila, ano ba ang actual capacity ng drainage system natin? Based on, kasi we could compute at an average yung volume of water that is produced during a typical typhoon. Ang formula lang naman dyan, area times rainfall depth. Nako-compute naman natin, alam natin kung ano yung average area ng Metro Manila, it's 636 square kilometers. Alam natin yung lower limits pagka bumabagyo. Ang lower limits ng rainfall depth pagka bumabagyo, 150 millimeters. Ang upper limits yan, pag malakas yung bagyo, sabihin mo lang 300 millimeters. So, if you compute volume, yung area times rainfall, malalaman mo ilang cubic meters ng tubig ang bumabagsak sa atin. So, yung lower limits, it's 95,400,000 cubic meters. Kung gagamitin natin yung upper limit, it's 190,800,000 cubic meters. So may data ba tayo? What is the carrying capacity of our drainage system in Metro Manila? Kasi kung yung carrying capacity lang hindi natin alam, hindi natin masosolve yung problema. So if I can,
Mr. Secretary, please proceed. You can reply.
Your Honor, yes, I totally agree with the observation of the good congressman from Metro Manila for Quezon City. The main problem in Metro Manila, Your Honor, is actually the drainage system in Metro Manila is very much old, antiquated. What we know is actually in the recent assessment of the drainage problem and drainage system in Metro Manila, despite the fact that it's already antiquated and old, the existing drainage system in Metro Manila is 70% silted. So in other words, it has only a carrying capacity of 30%. And this exacerbated the problems of the carrying capacity, Mr. Chair. So I think the issue is we need actually to have a master plan for the drainage system for Metro Manila.
precisely, that would have been my follow-up question. Knowing this, knowing this data, do we have a master plan? Are we following it? Dahil gumagawa tayo taon-taon ng budget. If we are not spending it based on the master plan, then we're wasting money. Kagaya ng sinabi ko, dun sa distrito ko, dumalang San Juan River yung main artery. Kumukonekta yung Lagariang Creek. Kahit taon-taon maglagay ng budget para doon sa San Juan River para lagyan ng mga sheet pile yung magkabilang gilid niyan. Kung hindi rin tatapusin, din nag-aaksaya tayo ng pera. Huwag na natin lagyan ng allocation niyan kung hindi rin matatapos. Sayang lang rin eh. Now, in certain areas rin, ang problema dahil nga as the good secretary mentioned, yung carrying capacity of our drainage are very low. So kailangan natin ng parang mga water catchment like what they do in Singapore. Madami nagtataka bakit sa BGC hindi bumabaha. Because BGC, when it was constructed, ang daming water catchment all over BGC. That's why the rainwater goes somewhere before go outflowing in Laguna de Bay. So, do we have such a thing? Are we considering such a thing? Baka we're wasting money. Kaya, alam ko, nabasa ko kasi, while I understand na ang pondo kasi pinaghahati-hatian kada distrito. Pero kung paghahati-hati din natin, we will never finish anything. So why not? Look at what causes the problem. Put the proper funding kahit na yung Office of the President na yung magpatupad yan, di ba? At gawin ng flagship project. But we need results kasi kung ang gagawin lang natin pagpaparti-partihan yung budget, then we will never solve anything.
Mr. Chairman, can I interject? We'll wait for Secretary first. Before giving it to the Secretary, to Chairman Momo, please.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Secretary, I understand there is a study already in Metro Manila and suburbs
conducted by the World Bank in 2012. And one of the recommendations of the study is the improvement of internal drainage system. I know the UPMO knows this. And actually, I think right now, the carrying capacity of our drainage is in a 5 or 10-year return period lang. Ang kailangan ng study, 50-year return period. Ibig sabihin, lalakihan natin ang ating mga drainage system. It is included in that particular study. And sana makita natin ulit yung ating study na yan. You can either update that or just follow the recommendation of the World Bank study. You have that. The World Bank study, Metro Manila and suburbs. In fact, one of the recommendation is being implemented already, the blooming rate interceptor. That is one. And the other one is the retarding basins in Cavite. You have that already, Mr. Secretary. These are all included in the master plan. In fact, the study. In fact, one of the recommendation of the World Bank study is to put up a high dam in the Upper Marikina River and the improvement of Mangahan Spillway. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
You may respond, please. Thank you.
Yes, that's correct. In fact, under the Japanese finance program for Metro Manila, one of the projects that we're looking at is actually to put up three dams in the Sierra Madre watershed area to control the flooding problem, the flooding going down to Metro Manila, and this is going to be under study now, Your Honor. This was actually directed by the President himself, actually. Aside from that, I think we're also considering a impounding reservoir in San Mateo. So these are the infrastructure programs for Metro Manila that we're looking at.
Okay.
What is more important actually is the drainage system from Manila.
So as a last follow-up to the question, Mr. Chair, given all of that, so ang question ko, so what drainage plan are we following? Kasi taon-taon nga nag-allocate tayo ng funding eh. So what drainage plan are we following? Kasi if we are not following any drainage master plan, then we are not achieving anything.
Well, I think this is the real challenge, actually, Your Honor. I think we need to undertake a real to goodness integrated master plan, drainage master plan for Metro Manila. I think.
So Mr. Secretary, is it that we are made to understand that currently we are not following any plan?
Unfortunately,
Kanya-kanyang
yes.
allocation lang.
For Metro Manila, that's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Mr. Chairman, I think that's a problem. That is what we have to address. Because, Mr. Secretary, I believe that you will understand that we will just be wasting money. We don't follow any plan that kanya-kanyang tulak lang ng appropriation or kanya-kanyang tulak ng allocation. Then we will not solve any problem. Maybe that is what we have to present to the President. And then present to the President how much it would cost. Then the President, dahil mahal yan, could come up, the country can come up with a 10-year master plan, a 15-year master plan na tuloy-tuloy yung funding na hindi utay-utay. Then we will accomplish something, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, I was just informed.
Secretary Bonoan, please.
Sorry, Mr. I was just informed by our good senior undersecretary that there is a program that is going to be undertaken by the UP Resiliency Institute to prepare a initial assessment on an integrated master plan for drainage master plan in Metro Manila under the World Bank.
Yes, that is nice to hear, Mr. Secretary. Actually, we have that master plan, pero it's limited to Quezon City. But other cities should also do that master plan because we are connected eh. Yung tubig galing sa amin sa Quezon City hindi lalabas sa Laguna Tibe kung walang master plan yung Pasig rin dahil dinadaanan namin yung Pasig eh. Hindi rin lalabas sa Maynila kung wala rin yung Maynila eh.
Totoo pa yan.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Maybe you can state your objection, your observation para lang din po malinaw. What did you actually want to have, Congressman Suntay?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What I want to have is for the DPWH and together with the MMDA because MMDA also has funding for flood control. Pero in fact, the cities, the LGUs also have funding for flood control. But kanya-kanyang talo yan. It's not a unified master plan that everyone is following. Maraming pera ang kailangan, Mr. Chairman. But if everyone talks to each other and pulls their resources together, then baka matapos yung master plan. But what is important is first, we have a unified master plan for Manila. Secondly, we estimate how much will that master plan cost. Pag alam na natin yan, we submit it to the President, to the Office of the President, ask him to have a 10-year, alam ko hindi matatapos sa itong last 3 years niya, to have a 10-year, 15-year, or even a 20-year master plan, which everyone in Metro Manila, the country will follow, then we solve one problem. Pero sa Metro Manila lang yon. Hindi ko alam pa pagdating sa probinsya. But at least in Metro Manila, may nasolusyonan po tayo. But unless we have that master plan and unless we get everyone on board, then we will always be flooded. And we are just wasting money. Sayang naman, kawawa naman yung taong bayan.
Well, before the Secretary responds, if he will respond, just to be very clear, do we not have an actual master plan? I think it's in the DPWH website that we have master plans that actually exist today that we worked with foreign consultants, hindi po ba? Or is this something that is different? Yung mga River Basin master plan po that we worked with foreign partners.
Yes, Your Honor, if I may respond. Yes, we have master plans for the 18 major river basins. But unfortunately for Metro Manila, it's only the Pasig-Marikina river basin that we have a master plan, not the internal drainage of Metro Manila.
So I think we have to make a note that that is something that we have to undertake for the future.
Mr. Chair, there is a disconnect between the Dpwh and MMDA and the LGUs. Because for a highly urbanized megapolis, there should be really a strong government. Unfortunately, MMDA has a very limited authority but a big responsibility. Yun lang pong zoning. Nagbabiolate yung mga local governments. Wala namang magawa. Yung MMDA. For example, sa waterways, ang best master plan is to preserve the natural waterways. Yun ang best master plan. Pero, yung natural waterways, punong-puno, 600,000 plus informal settler families on top, on site of the natural waterways. Yun ang pinaka-problema. So, kinakailangan po siguro, in fact, I'll be filing a proposed bill. Sundin na natin. Meron naman pong provision ng Constitution na pwede namang mag-create ang Metropolitan Manila ng isang Metropolitan Manila government para po, kasi hindi naman magkakarugtong yan. Hindi naman pwedeng independent yung mga waterways. Hindi naman pwedeng independent yung highways. Hindi naman pwedeng dadaan ka ng Quezon City, pwede kang walang color coding, pero pagdaan mo ng Makati, hulihin ka na. So there must be a strong Metropolitan Manila government with merong pare-parehong mga ordinances at mga laws. So we need a Metropolitan regional assembly who can propose laws para po sa susundin ng buong ngayon po lahat ng mayor boss lahat ng mayor boss walang magawa ang public works, walang magawa ang MMDA even sa disposal ng garbage kung saan dinidispose. Salamat po.
Okay. Thank you, Congressman Ariza. Next to ask, Congresswoman Cruz. She here? She's here.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, and thank you very much, the resource person. I guess my question is, based on the presentation that our resource person provided earlier, telling us about the budget cuts, the budget reallocations, the reductions, and the budgets for ROW, and the studies that should have been done, which significantly, as you have mentioned, Mr. Secretary, affected the effectivity or the implementation of the various flood control projects. Is it then your position, Mr. Secretary, that if for this year, the Congress will implement your proposals without and adopt completely without any reductions as proposed in the NEP, you can give us assurance that if you follow, it will significantly not eradicate, we understand that, but mitigate our problems in flooding, even with admission that we don't have a master plan.
Mr. Secretary, please respond.
Your Honor, it will help us
Para we support.
greatly, actually, to better implement our projects, Your Honor, if we have all the resources that we need, actually.
May I ask for another follow-up questions? By what metrics, Mr. Chairman, should we measure the effectivity of a flood control project? I'm assuming, as our chairman referenced earlier, that we also do have a 2004 Dpwh JICA master plan and followed by the 2012 Metro Manila flood mitigation plan in the surrounding areas. Is it necessary for us to also identify specific areas that should be the priority for a flood master control plan, or we just, your position is let's follow the NEP as proposed and see where that takes us, or we also simultaneously have to create a master plan for areas you have identified as priority projects? Sorry for the compound question, Mr. Secretary.
Please proceed, Mr. Secretary.
Your Honor, I think, yes, but as we mentioned, actually, the River Basin Program have already the master plans, and these are what we are following actually in the implementation of these projects. But what we need actually is master plans for other principal rivers and the local rivers as well, because I think these are also necessary for everybody to be guided on the priorities that have to be implemented along these rivers, Mr. Plan. And I think the master plan, as we are saying, should not only be for the engineering solution, but it has to be a comprehensive master plan that all those involved. Structural engineering solution is just going to be part of the master plan. We need to address the other components like environmental issues, land use issues, and other concerns that would affect actually flooding in the areas, Mr. Plan. Mr. Chair.
Yeah. Are you finished, Congresswoman Cruz?
May I follow up on the metrics that we should be using? So at least we are aware as part of the public and as also as legislators how we can, what specific measures use so that we know that the flood control projects being implemented in our district or in Metro Manila or anywhere else is actually working. What would be a good measure? Or as what metrics is the department following? I think that's the best.
For one thing, Your Honor, I think for for the immediate engineering intervention, we would need actually yung impact analysis for every project. What is the purpose of the project? How many beneficiaries should be benefited? What land area? And all these things. So we need an impact analysis actually for every project that we need to implement.
Is this currently being done, Mr. Secretary, Mr. Chair? Is it currently being done, that impact assessment?
In the process, Mr. Chair,
Yes.
those major projects that are being included into the National Expenditure Program, the district and regional offices are actually have this process for major, not everything. There is a threshold actually, Mr. Chair, threshold for major projects. So we need an impact analysis. We require the impact analysis, at least for the benefits that will be derived from the implementation of engineering flood control program.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Thank you, Congresswoman Cruz.
Mr. Chair, just in connection to what
Yes, please.
Congresswoman Cruz had stated. While there is a master plan for the Marikina and the Pasig River Basin, there are variables that are already very obvious. First, because of the rapid expansion of Metro Manila, even if we have a master plan for the Pasig at saka Marikina River Basin, it is not sufficient because both Marikina and Pasig cannot carry the volume of water which flows. Another very obvious thing is, saan ba yung outflow ng tubig? Dalawa lang naman. Laguna de Bay at saka Manila Bay. So if we just rely with both Pasig at saka Marikina River Basin, obviously that is not sufficient. What we need is an engineering intervention to have a Mr. Secretary, is maybe to have a drainage system which is not dependent on both Marikina and the Pasig River as outflow towards Laguna de Bay. Baka mas simple na dun muna magsimula while waiting for a comprehensive master plan. But what is very obvious is the water, the volume of water hitting Metro Manila during a typical typhoon, not even hindi kayang buhatin yan ng Laguna and Marikina and Pasig palabas.
Please respond. Thank you.
Yes, I agree with the Congressman. Actually, the discharge of the runoff water that is in Metro Manila, as mentioned, the capacity to discharge is very limited because of the drainage system now. No matter how efficient would be the pumping stations that we are talking about, for the runoff water cannot be conveyed into the pumping stations, then it will really exacerbate the flooding problems. So I think it has to be, as you said, Your Honor, I think it has to be an integrated approach for everything.
Okay.
The other thing is for, well, as you mentioned, Laguna Lake would be the biggest storage facility that we can, but I think we need to have a facility like the Paranaque Spillway to be implemented the soonest possible time.
Okay, before we proceed, we'd like to acknowledge Congressman Francis Indanya, Party List Nakbayan, Deputy Minority Leader, Congressman Antonio Proncitino, Party List, ACT Teachers, Deputy Minority Leader. Congresswoman Shelo Crisel Lagman, 1st District Albay, Deputy Minority Leader. Congresswoman Rene Luisco, Party List Kabataan, Assistant Minority Leader. Congressman Jose Manuel Tadeo Chel Diokno, Party List Akbayan, Assistant Minority Leader. Congressman Santos, please. Congressman Santos, please, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to address my question to the good secretary because during the last, yung malakas na ulan, secretary, medyo mabigat po talaga ang nangyari sa Las Piñas. And I would just like to make an appeal to the Honorable Secretary, Mr. Chair, na baka naman po pwede sa Las Piñas, itigil na po natin ang paggawa ng mga kalsada sa mga waterways. At sabi ni Congressman Erice kanina, inalis yung mga informal settlers. Sa amin po inalis pero pinalitan po ng kalsada. Kalsada papunta sa kung alam mo na. No, but this was the initiative of my predecessors, Mr. Secretary. I don't want to put a blame on you because I know that, alam niyo po, gumawa po sa amin doon po sa Zapote River ng River Drive. Ilog, dapat yung River Drive, pang-dredge lang po yun. Para i-clear yung mga siltation doon. Pero ito pong River Drive na to, ginawa pong kalsada. Kalsada doon sa mga negosyo, na pati ang gobyerno ang gumagastos. I just like to inform the Secretary na I wrote a letter, Mr. Secretary, sa inyo. Kasi po, meron pong ginagawa namang kalsada doon. Dpwh na naman po nagpapagawa. Pero private property po. Akala ko natapos na yung C5 at Taga. May parallel pong kalsada ngayon doon. I think alam po ng district engineer yan at I'm not sure if the regional knows this. Pero sobra naman po eh. Meron po kayong pinagawang flyover. Doon sa Las Piñas. Alignment ng LRT. 1 extension. Nasira po yung alignment. At ngayon gagastos naman ng gobyerno ng more than 1 billion pesos for the realignment and the redesign of the LRT extension. At alam niyo yan kung bakit nire-realign. Kasi gustong pumunta na naman yung istasyon doon sa lupa nila. Tama na po yan. Tama na po. I already wrote a letter to the Secretary. Sana naman po itigil na po natin ito. And that's the appeal of the President. Tama na po. Ang problema po ngayon, pag-upo ko pong congressman, bigla pong inilipat yung pondo sa region. Opo, hindi po alam ni Secretary, napirmahan niya yung pag-transfer po from the district to the regional office. Bakit po tinransfer? 450 million pesos? Gagawa na naman ng kalsada? Doon sa kanilang private property? Tama na po. So I am appealing to the good secretary. I hope, sana po yung district engineer nyo doon, huwag po sumunod, doon sa mga nagdidikta sa kanila. Kung pwede po, tanggalin nyo na siya. Hindi po ako nagbibiro. Kasi, ako po ang boses ng taong bayan eh. Wala lang po akong, neophyte po ako eh. Wala po akong kontrata, wala po akong kontraktor. Pero ang sinasabi ko, tama na po. Alam niyo po, I have no recourse but to file complaints po doon sa mga nag-implement po ng mga projects na yan. Hindi po ako nagmamalinis. Pero tama na po. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Secretary, may respond, please.
I fully understood the frustration of the good Congressman. And yes, Your Honor, we will certainly seriously consider all yung proposals actually and look into yung projects that are now being implemented as you mentioned.
In fact, follow up po, Mr. Chair. Yung pong LRT1 extension, dapat po 6 years ago tapos na yung Las Piñas Station. Gumawa po ng flyover dun sa alignment ng train. Ngayon po, nag-expropriate na po ang Dpwh o LRTA. Ngayon, mag-expropriate na naman po tayo. Imbis na dumaan sa gitna ng C5 extension ang train, ililipat po, i-redesign, kakanan. Mr. Secretary, mas mura pa po gibain ang flyover doon sa C5 extension kesa i-redesign at i-realign. The flyover cost only about 350 million pesos. Now we're going to spend 1.5 billion pesos approximately para to realign po, Mr. Secretary. So I think yung delay po na implementation ng LRT1 extension. In fact, Mr. Chair, I filed already a resolution to investigate this matter. But I brought it up already so the Secretary could do something about this. Full support po ako sa inyo, Secretary. Pero this has to stop. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Absolutely.
Pag-aralan mo na
Yes,
yan.
as I said,
please.
As I said, Your Honor, I think we'll have to seriously look into all these things that have been brought up by the good congressman in Las Piñas.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Next to ask question is Congressman Galang, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon po, Secretary. My question naman po is in relation to the Drainage Master Plan. Since aside from the master plan itself, do we have a book or design guide or minimum requirements or specification for certain projects? For example, merong drainage improvement. Do you have a minimum standard sa mga carrying capacity ng mga iba't ibang road mga waterways, and kung meron po, when was it last updated? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
We don't have a standard that it is computed technically, Your Honor.
Case-to-case basis.
It's computed, Your Honor. Actually, what is the volume of water that's going to be anticipated that will come out? We have to design actually the type of drainage. What is the size and the volume. As you said, I think this time, we are changing our technical parameters actually in considering actually our design parameters. When before actually flood control projects were designed that yung very technical po ito, yung return period that you are saying, anywhere between 15 to 25 years before. Now, because of climate change, I think we are going to adopt for major flood control programs either 25 to 50 years return period. For the big projects that we're implementing, it's going to be 100-year return period, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Follow-up rin po, actually it's great to hear from the Secretary na we're thinking about the 50-year or 100-year returns ng projects. But then, it's also, I think, along with the master plan, with the drainage master plan, we should at least implement yung minimum standards. Like strictly, for example, sa mga expansion ng mga road rehabilitation or drainage improvements, na i-consider na rin natin 50 to 100 years return po.
That's correct, Your Honor. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I think very important po before going to the next member po to ask the question. Siyempre, Valenzuela and surrounding areas, particularly Bulacan, Congresswoman Pancho will ask her questions later. But I think that's a question that the public is also asking. Bakit lagi hong baha sa Bulacan? Bakit laging baha sa Valenzuela? Ano ba yung kailangan po talagang gawin para ma-address itong baha sa mga lugar po na ito?
Sa tingin po namin kasi, Your Honor, it's actually the towns in the vicinity of Manila Bay are affected by tidal intrusion. No? Intrusion. So, I think we will continue to implement actually yung tidal ano tawag doon? Tidal protection programs along these lines. In fact, not only in Valenzuela but in Malabon and Navotas, these are the areas that have to be addressed for more and efficient tidal intrusion structures, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for your response, Mr. Secretary. Next to ask the question would be Congresswoman Ko.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to ask, so maraming reclamation activities na nangyayari sa Metro Manila. Does it have a big effect sa flooding?
Well, ang kwan po namin dito is a technical issue actually. I think there has been some assessments made by the Department of Environment and Natural Resources on the effects doon sa Manila Bay. No? But technically, when we are able to discharge the flood waters na hindi naman directly doon sa reclamation areas, well, I think Manila Bay can absorb actually the excess waters naman. The only problem there is actually the siltation issue. The siltation issue at the mouth of the rivers actually. So this has to be maintained very well actually, Your Honor. But the impact on the reclamation areas will not, I don't think there is the very major for me technically, there would be major influence to the internal flooding problems in Metro Manila.
Congresswoman Pancho, you may proceed.
Mr. Chair, I agree with Honorable Erice and Congresswoman Agata na one of the factors ay yung basura po natin and we have to have a master plan. Now, Mr. Chair, with the master plan, I think the LGUs should have the political will. I say political will to follow the master plan. What I mean, sir, is pag humingi ng business permit, dapat, bago mo i-issue business permit, they should present the flood control plan. Ang nangyayari po kasi, kanya-kanyang pataasan ng tambak, yung mga business establishments, and then magre-reklamo sila, naiwanan yung drainage canal, magre-reklamo sila, naiwanan yung kalsada. Pero hindi nila nakita ang taas po nila. So siguro, yung ating pong LGUs should have the political will, require them to follow the master plan. Para wala po tayong maging sisiyanan na iwanan ng kalsada at bakit may tubig ang kalsada. Sobra pong tinaas eh. And one thing Mr. Chair, nabanggit na po na ating chair yung Bulacan. Before po kasi, hindi po nararanasan ng Bulacan ang ganito pong pagbaha. Kung manunod po kayo sa YouTube po ngayon, makikita niyo po, although hindi ko po siya district, nasa 2nd district po ako at maayos naman po, minimal ang naging baha po. Ika nga po ay manageable, of course with the help of the Dpwh din. Pero kung i-consider nyo po yung iba, yung sa Hagunoy, Bulacan, Kalumpit, ay maririnig nyo po sa interview ng YouTube na buhat po ng ginawa. Nag-start ang Bulacan Airport. Naranasan po nila yung ganitong pagbaha. So bigyan nilang po kami ng klaro lang po ng paliwanag. Para naman po yung pag-iisip ng mga Bulakenyo, hindi po nila maisisi sa Bulacan Airport kung hindi po ba nakatulong o nakadagdag sa baha po ito pong Bulacan Airport. Kasi kung hindi, may problema po talaga tayo. Pero kung nakadagdag po sila, sana mapag-aralan po natin up to what extent ang naidagdag po ng tubig doon sa nararanasan pong pagbaha po ngayon sa Bulacan. I have nothing against the Bulacan Airport. In favor po tayo sa progress, additional income, additional revenue, additional employment on the part of the province of Bulacan. Pero alagaan din po natin yung life and property ng mga Bulakenyo po. Kung meron po siyang naging bahagi lang po doon po sa baha na nararanasan po ngayon sa Bulacan. Salamat po, Mr. Chair.
You may respond, Mr. Secretary, please.
Well, I think this is a very technical issue, Your Honor, and it would need actually a comprehensive study on the implications of the proposed airport in Bulacan, no, in terms of the impact of flooding, actually. Now, what I can say, actually, in those areas, in Hagunoy, Kalumpit, and everything, at one point in time, Your Honor, when I was still in the department long time ago, there was already a master plan, a big project that was supposed to be implemented in that area under the Pampanga Delta Flood Control Program. Upper Pampanga was completed. However, the lower Pampanga area is supposed to take care of the flooding problems in Hagunoy, Kalumpit, and all the other provinces. Unfortunately, this was rejected by the local governments. So, the funding was there, actually, and it was ready to be implemented, actually, to the dismay of the Japanese government at that time. Unfortunately, it did not materialize. And so now, we are faced with this issue to address it again. Actually, the flooding problems in those areas, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congresswoman Pancho. Next to ask is Congressman Garcia, House Appropriations Committee Senior Vice Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon po sa ating colleagues at kay Secretary at sa buong Dpwh family. Magandang hapon po. Nakikinig po ako ng mabuti sa mga suggestions ng ating mga kasama dito sa hearing na ito. And we see bits and pieces of the problem from the drainage system na dapat efficient, yung carrying capacity ng drainage, yung mga suggested water catchment and water impounding facilities, yung basura na a big part of the problem, yung silted rivers. Nakita natin noong isang araw si Presidente mismo bumaba sa Pasig at together with MMDA and the LGU dinidesilt po yung Pasig River. Ito po yung mga nabanggit na problema kanina which adds up dun sa problema natin ng flooding. Pero aside from that, I would like to add na kapag na-solve po lahat ng problemang itong nabanggit, may dalawang malaking problema pa po tayong haharapin. Number one, ito po yung adequate final destination ng tubig na bababa mula sa bundok dun sa mga catch basin na malalaki. So, kahit maayos natin yung basura, yung drainage, yung mga impounding catchment facilities, saan pupunta yung tubig? So yung mga, of course, sa low-lying area, the water seeks its own level, no? So sa low-lying area, pero kung walang adequate catchment basin, baka pa rin yung mangyayari. So yun po yung una. And pangalawa, pag pumasok na yung high tide, as you mentioned just now, itutulak po yan lahat pabalik. Kaya magbabaha pa rin sa Metro Manila, sa Region 3, aabot hanggang sa NLEX dahil itutulak ng Manila Bay pababa. So, aside from all those things, itong dalawang malaking problema na ito, kailangan makita natin in a macro perspective o big picture perspective. Tapos pumasok na po yung sinuggest ng aking Brad, si Kongbong, yung master plan. So in line with that, I presented to you, Secretary, at sa ating mga USEC several times. Budget hearing last time, tapos sa office ng ating liderato dito sa House. Kasi nga, naghahanap tayo ng solusyon. If you remember, I presented the Manila Bay Integrated Coastal Defense. na dito po masosolve, among other things, yung nabanggit ng aking mga kasamahan, yung dalawang malaking problema, yung adequate final destination ng tubig na kailangan trillions of cubic meters po yan siguro, at ma-prevent yung Manila Bay from coming in kapag may high tide. So if you remember that, I even highlighted all the river systems from Region 3 at Metro Manila. Kasi ito po yung nasa throat of Manila Bay. So from parts of Bataan, parts of Pampanga, parts of Bulacan, kasama doon yung Valenzuela and Malabon, and of course yung Metro Manila coming from the mountains of Rizal. So doon lahat yan babagsak doon sa throat of Manila Bay, and dahil hindi adequate yung catchment basin, babaha yung area na yon, kaya sinasabi ng ating mga kasamahan from Region 3 and Metro Manila. Tapos, to make it worse, papasok pa po yung high tide ng Manila Bay. So, yun po yung pinopropose ko na sana mapondohan yung feasibility study or master plan of that. Kasi yan na po yung sinasabi ni Kong Bong na pwedeng maging comprehensive master plan because it will encapsulate all the problems that were mentioned today, from the trash to the drainage to the silted rivers to the catch basin and the prevention of Manila Bay from coming in. So, gusto ko lang po sana i-follow up, Secretary, kung ano na po yung status nitong na-present natin several times sa Public Works, because it is a possible solution to the big problem.
Please proceed, Secretary.
Your Honor, yes, we are aware of that, and actually we have the as been furnished to us by the good congressman. I think this is a big mega project that we are talking about, yung kwan dito sa Manila Bay, and we had been coordinating with NEDA because we, I think at the end of the day, I think this kind of a project will have the other official development assistance financed, because I think this cannot be carried out by local financing program or at least public-private partnership program. So these are the areas that we are exploring with National Economic Dpwh, Your Honor. We'll follow it up with them actually, because we agree completely with the concept that it will really mitigate actually flooding problems in the surrounding areas from Bataan, Pampanga, Bulacan, and Metro Manila. Yes, Your Honor.
Follow-up question, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Secretary, for your response. And just like the Bataan-Cavite Interlink Bridge, we were proposing it before at nung inapprovan ng NEDA and Dpwh, and you have an existing partnership with our institutional funding partners like ADB, Asian Development Bank. Kapag napondohan yung feasibility study, just like the bridge, at lumabas na ang laki ng economic internal rate of return, just like yung Bataan-Cavite has the highest among all Build Better More projects, that is compelling reason enough to proceed sa detailed engineering design, because ang laki ng matutulong sa ekonomiya. So dito rin, kapag napondohan yung feasibility study or yung master plan at makita na hindi na lang concept, pero the data and the numbers will show na ang laki ng magiging benepisyo nito sa buhay, kabuhayan at ekonomiya ng ating bansa, ay this will be compelling reason enough para i-pursue yung next stages. So in short, yung feasibility study is the precursor dun sa malalaking project, lalo na kung ang taas ng economic internal rate of return. So ito, grabe yung baha, talagang apektado yung pang-araw-araw na buhay ng ating mamamayan, yung ating ekonomiya. So I would assume malaki rin ang economic internal rate of return nito. Probably even bigger than the Bataan-Cavite Interlink Bridge. Pero kailangan masimulan natin, ma-initiate natin yung funding ng feasibility study. Pero dahil doon natin makikita kung go or no go, kung mataas yung balik o hindi. So sana po sa lalong madaling panahon ay magawa po natin yan para yung sinasabing feasibility study na talagang big picture analysis, dahil grabe ho yung problema eh. So kailangan grabe din ho yung solusyon. We've come to that point na sinasabi ng ating Pangulo, talagang grabe yung climate change, new normal. So drastic din po dapat yung solusyon, and ito po yung pinakita namin sa concept, and hopefully mapondohan yung feasibility study or yung master plan para makita natin kung ito ba'y talagang makasolve together with all the suggestions ng ating mga kasamahan this afternoon, Mr. Secretary. Maraming salamat. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Secretary.
Yes, I think actually the proposals of the good congressman, and certainly the department will do the best we can to follow it up with Dpwh, because we, as I said, this kind of a project, a mega project, will have to be under official development assistance or under the public-private partnership program. But it's important actually to establish the viability, economic viability of this project at the earliest possible time.
One last thing, Mr. Chair. Doon po sa present ko, agnostic po siya. It can have the option of an ODA and it can have the option of a PPP. So may financial viability din based on the presentation. And it will not only solve the flooding problem but also the traffic problem, because we're losing 3.5 billion pesos a day in Metro Manila because of the inefficiency ng ating system dahil bagong ingress and egress po siya. Energy problem, water problem, food security challenge, housing problem, because most of the informal settlers are in Metro Manila. So dito may lugar na pwedeng magawa which is very proximate to Metro Manila for our informal settlers na magkaroon ng magandang well-master planned communities or township. So, dun sa proposal, but it has to be backed up by the study. Pero yung concept is there to capture our imagination and to start the ball rolling. So sana po matignan po ito at hopefully mapondohan yung master plan or yung feasibility study. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Thank you, Congressman Garcia. Before proceeding, we'd like to acknowledge the following members. Congresswoman Marlesa Doc Marley Hoffer Hasim, 2nd District, Zamboanga, Sibugay. Congressman Isidro Lumayag, 1st District, South Cotabato. Congresswoman Irene Labad-Labad, 2nd District, Zamboanga del Norte. Congressman Robert Nazal, Party List BH, Assistant Minority Leader. Congressman Arnan Panaligan, 1st District, Oriental Mindoro, Deputy Majority Leader. And Congresswoman Katrina Reiko Chuatay, 1st District, City of Zamboanga. Next to ask the questions would be Congressman Tino.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, di lang ako natunawan doon sa isang sagot ni Secretary kanina. Nung tinatanong ng mga kasamahan natin yung anong ginagawa tungkol sa baha sa Metro Manila, check yung dinig ko na sabi nyo walang planong sinusunod. Kayong nag-implement, Dpwh, ganun ba talaga? Walang plano, master plan, whatever, na sinusunod sa pag-implement ng mga flood control projects, particular sa Metro Manila ngayon? Please clarify.
Your Honor, as I mentioned, actually, I made the premise actually that the flood management program for Metro Manila has been taken over by Metropolitan Development Authority. And the department, however, is providing technical assistance in terms of engineering advice for them. But sabi nga namin, I think there is a need actually to undertake a comprehensive master plan for Metro Manila at this point in time, because we have not, as far as we know, except for the Pasig Marikina Floodway Master Plan Program, the internal flooding issues in Metro Manila does not have any master plan for the time being.
Okay, so, Mr. Secretary, correct me if I'm wrong, ang sinasabi nyo, MMDA ang may plano. Ganun ba?
They are the ones now who has taken over the flood management program for Metro Manila, Your Honor.
So there is a program. May programang sinusunod. Po, tama po. Yes. At merong pinagbabatayang plano ito, presumably.
That I would not be very sure, Your Honor, if there is a comprehensive integrated plan that is now being followed, actually.
Mr. Chair, ako naman, ina-assume ko na the Dpwh would be aware of a plan behind the MMDA's program. No, kasi parang nagsasalita tayo dito na as they were starting from scratch. Even the Secretary is saying kailangan daw magkaroon tayo ng integrated master plan for, to address flooding in Metro Manila. Pero sa pagkakaalam ko, matagal nang may mga ganyang proposal at plano from the 1970s. No, tapos, kaya nga, among others, nagresulta ito sa paglikha ng, halimbawa, Manggahan Floodway, di ba? Tapos, if I remember correctly, nung panahon ni dating Pangulong Arroyo, meron din siyang inaprubahang plano dito. Nung panahon ni Pangulong Aquino, may binabanggit din na pinapatupad na plano. Di ba, naging issue nga nun yung kailangan daw magpatayo ng catch basin sa ilalim ng UST ba yun? Tapos ayaw pumayag. So, in other words, Sec, parang di naman ako makapaniwala na walang existing plan. At kung gayon ay, kasi ang sunod na tanong doon saan na pupunta at paano pinatutupad yung from 2012 to the present? Sabi ay nasa 1.4 trillion na po ang nakalaan sa flood control. No? At papalaki ang pondo na to. Noong 2011, 11 billion lang po ang nakalaan sa budget ng DPWH for flood control. But for 2025, it's 248 billion. 249 for flood control. At presumably malaking bahagi no nasa NCR. No, a significant portion at least ay nasa NCR. Pero bakit parang ang sinasabi walang plano at kailangan palang magbuo ng plano? Pakiklaro lang po.
Well, as ang ano po namin, Your Honor, is actually, as I said, the projects that we're implementing for Metro Manila are projects that are actually being requested from the Metropolitan Development Authority. For example, right now, the department is now undertaking the rehabilitation of the internal flooding problems for Metro Manila. The department now is undertaking the upgrading of the 32 pumping stations and the construction of another 4 new pumping stations in Metro Manila under the World Bank Assisted Program. And aside from that, the department is continuously undertaking yung drainage program alongside the national roads. Yun po ang aming function. No? Now the rest, the internal drainage of Metro Manila is not within the purview of the Department of Public Works and Highways. The other major program that we are undertaking for Metro Manila is the Pasig Marikina Floodway program. Now there are many components of that program. I think we have completed actually 16 projects, including actually the engineering interventions along the Pasig River. Now we are in Marikina, and the other program that we will be implementing under this project would be the implementation of a floodgate, Metro Manila, Marikina flood control gate structure that will divert actually some of the flood waters from the Sierra Madre Mountains going to Laguna Lake. And we are now in the process of doing a feasibility study for the implementation of flood retention structures in the Marikina River Basin as well as in the Sierra Madre watershed area, Your Honor.
Thank you for that, Mr. Chair. So, ang isang parang lumalabas ay meron talagang apparently may kakulangan ng buong pagpaplano kaugnay sa pagtugon sa baha sa Metro Manila. Siguro sa pagpapalalim natin, we will pursue this point further. Thank you for that clarification.
Mr. Chair, just to interject.
Yes,
Yes, under the MMDA law, all the tributaries of the major river basins, Pasig, Marikina, is under the control of the Metro Manila Development Authority. It's not the responsibility of even the floodgates, even the pumping stations. They are all under the management of MMDA. Kaya yung plano hindi maliwanag kung ano ba talaga yung plano. Kasi ang MMDA naman, wala naman siyang legislative assembly. It's all the mayors who are controlling yung kung ano man yung mga ordinances, kung ano man yung mga pagpaplano, yung mga mayor ang gumagawa nito. So may kanya-kanya sila. Para tayong merong 17 independent republics na nagmamanage ng isang ng waterways na interconnected. Yun ang problema.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, just to follow up to that. So parang ang pinupunto ng ating galang-galang na Senior Deputy Minority Leader is yung existing na kaayusan ng MMDA ang parang nagiging hadlang sa buo or holistic na pagtugon sa problema ng flooding, no? At sa aking pagtingin, hindi ba dapat panghawakan ng national government ang usapin ito dahil in the end, ito ang may dapat na may responsibilidad na matiyak na matugunan ang problema ng baha. So yun lang po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Before we proceed, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Honorable Dasa Nico Raul of the 1st District of Northern Samar and San Fernando Elijah Rumabua, party list Kamanggawa. The next to ask question, Honorable Gonzales.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, good Secretary and the Dpwh family. The city of Santa Rosa and the nearby cities, Binyang, Cabuyao, Calamba, and even San Pedro is always and will always be the catch base of Silang and Tagaytay. So the continuous heavy rain and the overflow of river resulted to localized flooding. So in that sense, Mr. Secretary, we are sometimes hopeless. Pagka po nandiyan na bagyo, nag-iisip na kami because we are on the downstream. And even the Nuvali area is somehow 100 feet ang elevation from the city proper, the old town. So pagka po nasa Nuvali ka, you feel safe. But our constituents on the downstream area, especially nearby the Laguna de Bay, so pagka po ito lang mga ulanan, heavy rain, bagyo, so they are problematic.
And in that sense, Mr. Secretary, the sentiment of the good congressman from Binyan, maybe from the 2nd District, Cabuyao, and San Pedro, and my representation from the Lone District of Santa Rosa, we are urging the DPWH to seriously take a look on study on the systematic dredging practices. So hindi po yung, kasi po ang mga LGU ay mga dredging eh. So dredging, so nangyayari po yan. But it is a short-term solution. But this time, baka po naman you may take the lead. Because a while ago you are telling us that the Laguna de Bay is under the jurisdiction of the LLDA. So, going to say, ang lahat ng mga pagkilos dito, we need to ask the Laguna Lake Development Authority. So, Mr. Secretary, is it possible for the DPWH, under your leadership, to create a tripartite committee, the DPWH, the LLDA, and the LGU nearby the Laguna de Bay, to make a study or to make a solution? Maybe solution is the most effective and most efficient way to relieve itong pong pagbaha sa area namin. And I know maybe it will also a big help to Manila and even sa mga kabaligtad pong lugar. So we are urging you, Mr. Secretary, to please can you make a tripartite committee so that this problem, the perennial problem in our area, will be addressed seriously. Thank you.
Your Secretary, yes. Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, I think the department would be ready and gladly participate in a tripartite agreement or collaborative effort actually to see the address actually the flooding problems in the area, Your Honor. As you mentioned, actually, I think one of the major problems there now is actually the siltation of the waterways in the areas, and it needs actually massive dredging and the silting. You see, the carrying capacity of the rivers now are very limited, very shallow. So very shallow. The riverbeds are very shallow. So any downpour that you would expect actually will just overflow to the neighboring areas actually. And these are very serious concerns. And this is actually what we intend actually. Hopefully that in 2026 that we shall now be able to get our funding allocations for us to be able to equip our field offices to obtain actually the necessary equipment for dredging and the silting operations along the rivers, Your Honor.
Thank you so much for the positive response, Mr. Secretary.
Thank you. Now, the Chair would like to acknowledge the presence of Honorable Lacson Maria Nina Francisca of the party list Manila Teachers. Next to ask question is Honorable Igay Erese.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Secretary, yung po mga long-term projects na ginagawa na ng department, meron din po siguro mga medium-term solutions. Like, for example, ayusin natin yung system of governance as far as NCR is concerned. Pero at the end of the day, pag uwi namin sa aming mga distrito, tatanungin kami, ganito pa rin ba next year? Ganito pa rin ba?
Ba't hindi kayo gumalaw?
May magagawa ba tayo na mga immediate courses of action?
Isisisi nyo kay Secretary Bonoan.
Kahit pa paano, mabawasan natin yung pagdurusa ng mga mamamayan at ng ating lungsod. So, gusto ko lang pong, meron lang po akong mga proposal at tingnan nyo kung ito po ay makakatulong sa atin. Una, yung po mga waterways natin, especially the natural waterways, matagal na po hindi na-dredge. Meron po bang absorptive capacity ang ang DPWH to dredge all the waterways and tributaries throughout Metro Manila. As an agency, do you have the absorptive capacity?
Your Honor, ito yung matagal na namin inasam-asam sa Department of Public Works and Highways, to be very blunt about it. From the very start of this administration, we said we need to do desilting and dredging operations all over the country, not only in Metro Manila. Kasi we know that this is a basic problem actually for the flooding issues. Kasi, as I said, waterways, the carrying capacity of the rivers, waterways are very limited now, very shallow. So we need actually to enhance the carrying capacity of the rivers actually, especially in Metro Manila. Unfortunately, I think past years we've been trying to get already the necessary equipment sana. But I hope that in 2020...
Maybe Congress can help you do that.
I hope we pray. In 2026, Your Honor, I think we pray and we ask the support of Congress actually to help us out and start a massive dredging program.
Yes, and second, Mr. Secretary, according to studies, at least 1 million tons of garbage are stuck in our creeks every month. Nawawala lang po ito pagka umuulan doon sa mga floodgates, pero marami po nito ay nasa mga waterways natin. 1 million tons of garbage every day. Pero ito pong mga ito ay binabayaran ng mga mamamayan natin sapagkat ang karamihan ng kontrata ng mga kolekta ng basura sa Metro Manila ay clean all. Ibig sabihin, ang computation nila, 0.74 kilo per person times the population, yun ang binabayaran ng mga local governments sa mga contractor ng basura. Kaya ang yayaman na po ng mga contractor ng basura, nagpopondo na ng mga politiko. Kung meron pong narco-politics, may garbage politics din. So, palagi ko pwedeng makatulong ang Kongreso dito. Especially the Public Accounts Committee, ang Metro Manila. Baka po pwede natin na dahil ang kontrata ay clean all, dapat kasama yung mga basura na nasa creek, kasama yung mga basura na sa drainage, na kukolektahin nila. Kahit dagdagan pa nila yung presyo, kung mahirap, dagdagan nila yung presyo, mawala lang yung basura, mawasan lang yung bahan natin. Dahil kahit i-dredge natin paulit-ulit, kung ganito yung sistema nung solid waste management natin, wala ring mangyayari. Napakaseryoso po ito. Ito po siguro dapat tingnan ng ating Pangulo. Bakit? According to a study conducted by scientists all over the world, and it was reported in 2020 by Bloomberg, yung pong karagatan sa buong mundo ay punong-puno na ng plastic waste. Yan po yung pinagmumula nung nagpo-pollute sa ating mga karagatan. Alam niyo po ba, according to the study, 37% ng mga plastic waste sa buong mundo, sa mga karagatan ng buong mundo, galing sa Pilipinas. Ang India po, 1 billion ang population, 12% ang contribution nila. Ang China po, 1 billion ang population, 6% ang contribution nila. Ang US po, napakalaki, 0.03%. The rest of the world, 8%. Yan po, ang ibig po sabihin niya, ganyan, yan po ang nagme-measure ng efficiency ng solid waste management. At kung yan, yung 37%, ang ibig po sabihin niya, napakabalahura, napakasalaula ng ating solid waste management system. Eh, hindi ako magtataka na yung baha, hindi po yung flood control ang problema. Ang baha sa Metro Manila, number 1, ang solid waste management system dito. Kung pwede po, patulungan natin ang Public Works, gusto natin, patawag natin, MMDA, patawag natin lahat ng mayor, dapat mag-commit sila. Dapat kasama sa kukolektahin na binabayaran natin nating mga nakatira sa Metro Manila, yung mga basura na nasa creek, nasa mga drainage. As I said before, Singapore po, 7 million ang population. 2,400 compactor trucks ang ginagamit nila, which is equivalent to 2.5 times 2.5 ng mga ginagamit nating garbage trucks. Tayo po, wala pang 2,000 dito sa Metro Manila, doble yung populasyon natin. Ganyan po kagrabe yung ating problema sa basura. Salamat po.
Thank you, Congressman Erice. Next to ask the question would be, well, before she asks the question, we'd like to recognize Congressman James Jojo Ang Jr., Party List, Puswag, Ilonggo, Assistant Majority Leader. The next to ask the question would be Congresswoman Ko.
Ay, magandang hapon po sa Secretary. Siguro mapapakilala lang po ako kasi aside from being a representation of the youth through Kabataan Party List, nakatira po ako sa Malabon. Specifically, nakatira ako sa Tinajeros. And Tinajeros, notorious yan, laging babahain, konting ulan lang. At ito ang namin, last year, yung bahay namin, binaha sa loob hanggang bewang. Ngayon din ay binaha yung loob ng area namin. At sa mga volunteer efforts na ginagawa ng mga kabataan in the area, ang nakikita namin nila sa interviews sa mga affected communities, na po-point nila yung reclamation bilang isa sa mga causes ng flooding. May mga iba't ibang manifestations yung honorable Congress people dito sa mga iba't ibang causes. Diba, nandiyan syempre yung drainage systems natin, patuloy silang barado, nandiyan din yung solid waste management, kung paano kailangan great improvement yung kailangang mangyari para hindi na ito magdulot din sa pag-clog ng drainage systems natin. Pero so far, no, first time siguro kong narinig yung reclamation bilang isa sa mga causes nito. And to echo din yung sinabi ni Honorable Deputy Minority Leader Egay Erice, no, ang kailangan nating i-explore din yung pagkakaroon ng pagbabalik sa natural drainage passages, that reclamation projects, no, ang bumabara dito. Porque kaysa naman sa maalaw natin yung tubig na kapag binaha or merong drainages ay through the natural passageway siya lalabas, madidisrupt ito ng mga reclamation projects. And heavily affected ang coastal communities like Malabon, like Navotas, etc. And ito na nga yung reason why noong nagkaroon ng pagbabaha muli, no, in the past years, nagkaroon ng suspension of reclamation projects, no, in Manila Bay, and in-explore din yung pagkakaroon ng suspension na to dun sa Taliptip, Bulacan. Though may reports tayo, no, this year lang, mga months before, na hindi nasusunod yung mga suspension orders na ito. So siguro ang tanong ko po sa Honorable Secretary here today ay una, may pag-aaral na po ba ang Dpwh sa effect ng reclamation projects doon sa worsening flooding in Metro Manila, and paano ito nakaka-affect sa drainage systems? Dahil meron ng pag-aaral yung third parties, no, and na-attribute talaga nila yung reclamation projects bilang additional costs and nakaka-exacerbate ng flooding. I understand na kayo po ay may coordination efforts with the Philippine Reclamation Authority, so baka po pwedeng ma-share ninyo kung may pag-aaral na po bang nangyari dito. And ikalawa po, ano po pwedeng magawa ng Dpwh to ensure compliance doon sa mga suspension of these reclamation projects na inliyo nga na nakikita to na isang reason for the flooding. So I understand that DNR yung nag-suspend, ganyan. Pero given na, yun that, meron kayong coordination na with PRA, ano pong magiging efforts natin to ensure that kind of compliance?
Your Honor, I must add that I think the Department of Public Works and Highways did not have any comprehensive study on the reclamations. To start with, I think nadatnan na lang namin yung reclamation projects to start with under this administration, and then they're there. Actually, now the issue is actually whether this has significantly impacted on the flooding problems or exacerbated the flooding problems in Metro Manila and nearby areas. Ang kuwan lang po namin dito, technically kasi po, well, to start with, let's say for example, there's a big reclamation program long before, no? Ito yung dyan sa cultural center and everything. That is a reclaimed area. It's a big one. It's a big reclamation area at the time. I don't think, hindi naman nakapag-cause yata ng flooding problems during those times. No? And tinitingnan din naman namin kasi, technically, for as long as there is no blockage doon sa main waterways that na nagano sa Metro Manila ay sa yung rivers like Pasig River, Tulyahan River, and other rivers that hindi naman yun nakabara yung mga reclamation areas. But having said that anyway, I think there is still probably a need actually to look into the technical issues once again. No? I know that reclamation in many parts of the world is actually being done doon sa kanila. If there would be some scientific basis actually that we can see and adapt probably to abate yung mga flooding problems that may be caused actually. Yun po siguro ang pagtutuunan po namin ng pansin kung meron po. Yes po.
Yung second question na lang po, yung sagot po doon, yung paano makakatulong yung Dpwh sa mag-ensure ng compliance ng suspension of continued reclamation